and gets more command of all of his pitches.
So Guthrie looking for a second win on the year, and the first ball swung on. Roberts to his left, the big bounce, and the off-balance throw gets him. And on one pitch, one away. Let's get a look at the defense tonight behind the Orioles ace.
Felix PA gets a start in left field tonight. Jones and Markakis round out the outfield defense. On the infield is Stewart and Roberts up the middle. Mora and Huff at the corners, and Greg Zahn's done a great job with this team so far, taking control of the pitching staff, and Jeremy Guthrie, he handles his defensive position very well.
One pitch, one down, and here is Carl Crawford, and he takes a strike. Crawford is the longest tenured Tampa Bay Ray. 6 years and 72 days at the big league level with Tampa Bay, now 27 years old. And he swings at a slider and fouls it off, and it's 0-2.
Well, Carl Crawford, as we mentioned, he has more at-bats against Jeremy Guthrie than anybody in the American League, and Guthrie's had some trouble with him. And it's not unusual. He's the type of guy that can get hits all over the diamond. Guthrie pitching ahead, as Dave Joust told us in the scouting report, is key to his success, because then the hitters expand their strike zone and they'll chase those borderline breaking pitches with 2 strikes.
He backed him off the plate with that pitch just to get the feet moving. And the 1-2 is fouled off.
Well, now he's got him in a swing mode. He swung at that slider inside, and Carl Crawford knows with a 1-2 count he has to expand the strike zone. They're the numbers we were talking about. 8 for 23 in his career against Jeremy Guthrie.
Well, the count holding 1-2, 1 out, none on. And he fouled it off. Good moving fastball that fisted him.
Well, perfect pitch as well. It was right in on his hands, and Crawford in a very defensive mode can't do much with it other than fight it off. Again, I mentioned this last night, how much it means for Zahn to be so assertive with his target behind the plate. Really gives the pitcher a good target to zero in on.
Defense is straight away on Crawford, and missing outside. 2-2. Crawford last year was out of the lineup from August 9th until September the 26th. He had a right middle finger tendon problem that actually needed surgery, but he did get back just in time for the postseason. 2-2 is fouled off. Good at bat by Carl Crawford. He was a second-round pick of Tampa Bay back in 1999, and now in his 8th season overall, and he has 6 full years and 72 days of major league service time. Guthrie very deliberate tonight. And 2-2 on Crawford, and a strike 3 call. They got a fastball by him, Buck, and Crawford just stood there.
Well, I tell you what, both Zahn and Guthrie did a heck of a job of mixing their pitches very effectively. And watch this last pitch, a 2-seam fastball that runs over the inside corner and catches the corner. And it catches Carl Crawford flat-footed.
The first strikeout for Guthrie. He's averaged in his career in the big leagues about 6 strikeouts per game. 2 down, and here is the ever dangerous Evan Longoria. Last night, Buck, 2 home runs. He has 4 now to lead the American League.
Well, he is as strong as any hitter there is in baseball, and he gets tremendous carry. Backspin on the ball. He hit one out the center, and his second one went out the left.
Like a changeup or a slider that Longoria swung through.
Yeah, it was a changeup, straight change, very effective to Longoria, and that's what the Phillies did in the World Series that the Red Sox didn't do. They throw him a lot of off-speed pitches.
He's 23 years old as Longoria. Checks a swing. That one misses just outside. And Longoria last year, 27 home runs and 85 RBIs, and he missed 30 games when he was out with a fractured wrist. Imagine what he would have done with another month of games.
Well, a lot of people question whether or not Tampa Bay can repeat as American League East champions, and I don't think there's any reason they can't. When you mentioned Carl Crawford out for a month, Joe Madden didn't have Longoria at third base for over a month, and they've added a bat of Pat Burrell.
3-1 on Longoria. Pena waits on deck with 2 down, and a high pop up back of the plate. Zahn comes back hoping for a play, and he runs out of room. You know, along those lines, it is kind of amazing when you think about it, because we talk about depth all the time in lineups. Last year, the only position player who was not injured for Joe Madden was Akinori Iwamura. every other player was injured at some point during the year, so somebody else had to step in.
Yeah, and they utilized their bench very effectively. A lot of the extra guys really stepped up to fill the gaps.
Here's the payoff pitch and a foul down at the plate. Good job by Longoria to fight it off. And there's Akinori Iwamura, who came over as a free agent from Japan. He is 30 years old, played 8 years in the Japanese major leagues, and obviously proving to be a very durable player for Joe Madden. 2 outs, none on. We're just underway. Top of the first. And a full count on the number 3 batter, Evan Longoria. Tampa Bay's at 2-2. The Orioles at 3-1.
Boy, Longoria is so quick. He's 23 years old, and he really has the ability to wait till the last possible moment before he commits to a pitch. And especially important with 2 strikes. You don't want to be too anxious. Get out in front on that front foot. But he is lightning quick with his hands.
Guthrie deals another 3-2, and it's bounced towards third. That's a fair ball. Long throw for Melvin Mora, and he got him. Scooped nicely by Aubrey Huff, and Guthrie has a 3-up, 3-down inning. Tampa Bay does not score. Here come the Birds. Park on a Saturday night, and having the popcorn and the peanuts and all the other good stuff you get at the ball yard. Here are the Southwest Airlines starting lineups for the Birds. Ryan Roberts, Adam Jones, and Nick Markakis with Aubrey Huff in the cleanup spot. Melvin Mora, a huge game last night. A couple of base hits, drove in 3 runs. Ty Wigginton will DH Felix PA in left field. Greg Zaun will catch, and Cesar as Torres, the shortstop, bats ninth. Jeff Neiman on the mound for Tampa Bay tonight. The PNC scouting report from Dave Jouse.
He's been a prospect for a while. He pitched against us in Tampa last year and gave us all sorts of problems. He's got a power fastball, 92 to 94 miles an hour. You will see a good velocity. He has both a curveball and a slider and a working on a changeup. We have to make this man work.
Jeff Neiman making his first opening day roster. As Dave Joust mentioned, he has 2 wins in the big leagues, both of those coming against the Orioles. 1 in relief and 1 as a starter. 6'9", same height as Mark Hendrickson, who pitched for the Orioles and won last night. And he creates a very difficult angle for hitters because he is so tall. You have a tendency to only look at the top half of the ball because he's throwing it for such a dramatic downward plane.
74 games in the minor leagues, and he won 26 of those. And last year he faced the Orioles twice and won each. One was a start and one was a relief appearance. And there's Brian Roberts leading off for the Birds in the bottom of the first. And there's a strike as Neiman comes right at him. B-Rob off to a good start. He's hitting each of the first 4 games. .438 average. That is only good for 8th in the American League. That's what happens in the first week. Roberts gets into one. Deep right center field. Gross on the run. Joyce on the run. And that one bounces up into the crowd. And it's a ground rule double. Ryan split the gap, Buck, and able to get it on the warning track. And he's on at second base with nobody down.
The second double of the season for Brian Roberts. He had 51 doubles last year. Trying to go down and away, and you can see he leaves it over the middle of the plate, and Roberts is all over it. On a warmer night, that ball's got a chance to get out of here, but it hits on the artificial warning track and bounces out of play, and it's a leadoff double. Another quick start for the top of this order.
And Brian Roberts talking to Akinori Iwamura. And here is Adam Jones in the number 2 spot. Adam, you see, hits in 3 of the first 4 games. A couple of multi-hit games. And I think what was impressive about his game last night, Buck, is Neiman gives Roberts a look. And he fouls it back. He took an offer on Thursday afternoon in the day game, the game A.J. Burnett pitched, and really didn't look comfortable. And then last night he bounced right back at a couple of hits.
Yeah, one thing about Adam is he never gets down on himself. And you'll remember last year a couple of different times he had terrible nights with big strikeout nights, 4 strikeouts at one game. And Dave Tremblay and Terry Crowley were a little concerned about him. And sure enough, the next day he acted as if nothing had ever happened.
Shortstop Bartlett behind Roberts, so Neiman steps off. Now here's a spot, learning to be a number 2 hitter. Do you expect Adam to try to hit it the other way at a minimum to move Roberts along?
Absolutely. And Brian has talked to him specifically about this, that if he feels like he can steal third and gets a good jump, he's asked Adam just to be a distraction.
Roberts goes, he got a big jump and no throw from Navarro.
Brian's as good as anybody in baseball at stealing third, and that time he did it with just a straight lead. Normally he bounces off, but watch how he goes from a static position, gets a great jump, and Navarro can't even make a throw. What an asset it is to have that kind of speed at the top of the order. 40 steals last year, 2 already this year, and now Adam Jones has the hitter's dream. Runner at third base, less than 2 outs, anything on the ground, on the infield, gets you an RBI.
Ball and a strike on Adam. Neiman will stay from the stretch. And it hit him right in the middle of the back. So Adam Jones down to first base, and on a chilly night, that's going to hurt.
Well, this is a fastball. You can see how far he missed his target. And I got to tell you something, Jim. In the middle of summer in July, that hurts.
Well, Nick Markakis coming up here with 2 on and none down. We asked Nick his impressions of the Orioles building plan, which is now very well in place.
The first 3 years being part of this team, you know, it was a little rough. You know, obvious, everybody saw it. But, you know, I feel that, you know, you stick it out. You know, you go through the growing pains, and you're part of that. You know, good things come in towards the end. And, you know, we're at the point right now where, you know, I think we're starting to get an idea. We're starting to feel out. You know, we got some young guys coming up, you know, with some older guys coming in. And, you know, you really can't ask for, you know, much more than that.
So Markakis looks at ball 1, runners on the corners. Tampa Bay has the defense set for 2, and a throw to first chases Jones.
We have talked about this organization and how they have kind of looked at Tampa Bay for the roadmap, and Tampa Bay is a perfect example. They play in the same division. Joe Madden's team has turned things around dramatically from 07-08, a 31 win improvement. They've done it on the strength of pitching and defense.
Markakis, high fly ball to center field, chasing Joyce. Back it goes, way out there, bounces up and over the wall. That'll be a ground rule double. 1 run will score. Jones will be held at third, and the Orioles getting to Jeff Neiman early on. Birds take a 1-0 lead.
Well, you talk about a top of the order doing damage. Markakis with his second double of the season. Picks up his 7th RBI. That's a pretty good pitch. Sinking fastball away. Matt Joyce runs out of room. It's on the warning track, bounces out of play, and Brian Roberts, as he did last night, jogs home with a run in the first inning.
Nick Markakis talking with umpire Jim Joyce out there at second base. And here is Aubrey Huff, the longtime Tampa Bay Ray, now with the Orioles. Aubrey has a chance for a couple of more RBIs, and they have the shift on against them. You see the runners leading, Jones at third, Markakis at second. And the slider down and in. Nice block by Navarro. But this is a very unusual defense with 2 men on.
Well, and you can see how much room there is between the third baseman Longoria and Bartlett, who is now on the right field side of second base. I mean, that's a lot of ground for Aubrey Huff to zero in on. The reason I question this is because you're not sure about the command of Jeff Neiman. He is not a command and control guy, and you're really committing to his ability to make perfect pitches. That's why you set the defense in this manner with 2 runners in scoring position.
Aubrey already has 1 hit this year going against the shift, hitting it to where the shortstop would be, but was vacated because of the alignment. Down and in, ball 3.
Now that happened in last night's game when Longoria was straight away at shortstop in the shift, and he went to his right, fielded a ball, and had no play.
See Longoria playing close to third, with Jones taking his lead. 3-0 on Huff. And there's a strike. Aubrey taken all the way. 3-1. Aubrey 4 RBIs on the year. He has 3 base hits over the first 4 games, and 2 of those hits have been doubles. Orioles for a chance here for a big first inning. 1 run already in. And it's high ball 4, and the bases are loaded.
Well, starting pitchers often have times in the first inning, and let's look at this at bat to Aubrey Huff. Curveball misses down and in, ball 1. Change up off the plate, 2-0. Another fastball well off the plate inside. Fastball missed upstairs, 4, ball 4. Joe Madden now is out here talking to his pitcher, and he's looking around the infield saying, listen, you've got one of the best infields in baseball behind you, but they can't do a thing if you're going to walk these guys. Let's go. I know they've hit a couple of doubles off of you in the first inning, but don't worry about that. But as we looked at that pitch track is brought to you by Northrop Grumman. Northrop Grumman, defining the future in technology.
All right, now you're the former manager. The manager makes the trip to the mound in the first, not the pitching coach.
Yeah, and that's exactly the point he wanted to make. He says, listen, Jeff, get yourself into this game. I mean, you're going to knock yourself right out of this game by walking people, and you've got to pitch ahead. And he was very tentative in his approach to Aubrey Huff, throwing off-speed pitches, breaking balls, and didn't use his fastball much at all.
Big spot for Melvin Morris. Still nobody down. Bases loaded. And a 1-0 Oriole lead. And there's a strike. He comes right at him, and Melvin takes. Adam Jones, the lead runner at third. Nick Markakis is at second. And Aubrey Huff, the trail runner, getting a good lead as Pena not holding the bag. Neiman stays from the stretch with the bases loaded. High fly ball, deep left center field. Joyce back, way out there. It is good! There's a grand slam. And a 5-0 Oriole lead.
Well, the top of the order set the tone for this inning, and then Melvin Mora gets a hanging slider about letter high out over the plate. Look at the extension. Hits that ball well out in front of home plate, gets a lot of lift and carry, and knocks it into the Orioles bullpen. First grand slam of the season for the Orioles. Third for Melvin Mora in his career.
And still nobody down. Ty Wigginton, first ball swinging, fouls it back. Third career grand slam for Melvin Mora. His first since 2005 in Detroit. And right there to say thank you, buddy, is Jeremy Guthrie. Line drive. There's a base hit to right field for Wigginton. So 6 in a row have reached here in the first inning.
Obviously not the kind of start Joe Madden had envisioned for big Jeff Neiman. Quite a battle in spring training between Neiman and Jason Hamels for the 5th spot in the rotation. Look at this. No stride whatsoever. Just using his hands, staying inside the ball, and squares up right on the barrel of the bat and shoots it into right field. Good swing by Ty Wigginton. Now
Felix P.A. will bat. Fastball's high, 1-0.
And in the Orioles dugout, they're chanting, "Keep the line moving." You talk about a comfort level right now. These hitters are having great at bats.
BA had a 2 out of 4 on Thursday night. High foul back out of play. We asked the skipper Dave Tremblay about Felix Pie and his game the other night, in which he came up with a couple of hits.
I don't want to say he's a high maintenance guy, but what he needs is a definite, consistent every day. He's got to be in that cage early every day. He needs early work every day in order for it to come out of him, and so far he's been willing to do that.
And the early work Dave refers to is the sessions inside the batting tunnel, where Terry Crowley continues to mold and craft the swing and the approach. Terry Crowley calls it the foundation of hitting. He says, think about building a house. What do you start with? The foundation. That's what we're doing with Felix Pie.
Well, he's had 2 seasons with the Cubs, parts of 2 seasons, and doesn't have many games under his belt.
Pops this one up. Foul ground. Navarro and Pena. Pena calls, and the first baseman has it. There's the first out, recorded by Neiman. Here's the defensive alignment tonight behind Neiman.
In the outfit, it's Crawford Joyce and Gabe Gross. B.J. Upton is close to coming back and joining this team, taking over in center field. On the left side, Evan Longoria, Jason Bartlett, Aki Iwamura, and Carlos Pena on the right side, and Dioner Navarro is the catcher. That's the first play the defense has had a chance to make tonight as they get the first out of the inning.
Greg Zaun now the number 8 batter. Switch hitter up there from the left side. And he takes low. Now, Zaun is one of those hitters, Buck, as you got to look at him gripping the bat, that loves to feel the wood. No batting gloves even on this chilly night for Greg Zaun. Very few major leaguers go up there without batting gloves. Foul back, 1-1. Well, Jorge Posada of the Yankees is another. He was just here. No batting gloves for Posada. Maybe it's a catcher thing.
Well, it's just what you get used to, and Zaun started out doing that, felt comfortable doing it, and just feels like anything else on his hands other than rosin and pine tar is just too much.
Wigginton at first now with 1 down. Oh, good eye, ball 2. Zaun is hitting all 3 games he has started. Really doing a good job with the pitching staff early on.
Now, it's a challenge for a catcher that's new to an organization to get up to speed with all the pitchers he has to work with.
There's a tapper towards first. The second baseman Akinura will get it. And he will more to first base for the out and 2 down. Going to second base is Wigginton. So Akinura Iwamura quickly to his left, able to get in on that, and Zaun is retired. Cesar Asturias now. He has an RBI opportunity with a runner at second base and 2 down, and the Orioles have batted around in the first inning.
We mentioned the challenges to starting pitchers in the first inning. Got to deal with the best part of your lineup, 1, 2, 3. Certainly for the Orioles right now, that's the hottest part of their lineup. And you've got to try to get acclimated to the atmosphere of a ballpark, adjust to the mound, and find the strike zone.
Asturias first ball swinging to left. Shallow as Crawford. He's got it, and the inning is over. But the Orioles bat around, and the big blow from Melvin Mora. First home run on the year is a grand slam, and a 5-0 Oriole lead.
5-0 after the first complete inning tonight. Now let's take a look at his pitch grips. This is a four-seam fastball. A little more velocity, a little better command with that fastball. He'll throw a two-seamer as well. This is a curveball. Now look at where that middle finger is, right along that seam. That gives him the most positive grip where he can get the best rotation and snap off the great breaking ball. Slider's thrown a little bit like throwing a football with a spiral type of action, and that's the changeup. You can see the circle grip on the side. That's where the name comes from, as your index finger and your thumb make a circle on the side of the baseball.
And Guthrie, one of the pitchers who can throw the curveball and the slider. Many pitchers find it difficult to get consistency with either of the pitches if they try to throw both.
Well, they shouldn't really have a problem with that, because the slider is basically thrown like a fastball. You just kind of cut it and it spins with a spiral type of motion, and Jeremy's mastered them both.
A little bit low on Pena. Carlos has a 3-game hitting streak working. Dangerous, dangerous hitter who found his home in Tampa. And you look at Pena and the numbers he has put up. He's not his 3rd year with Tampa. Texas had a shot with him. He was a first-round draft pick at Texas coming out of high school. Then he went to Oakland. Then he went to Detroit. Brief time in Boston. All 4 of those organizations had him. And at Tampa Bay as a home, there's a pop-up Melvin Mora over as the ship was on. He has it for the out. Well, but Jeremy Guthrie thrilled to have this 5-0 lead, because he has not pitched well in his career against Tampa.
Well, he picked up his first career win at Tampa Bay in relief of Adam Lowen, and then he picked up his first win as a starter also against the Rays down. He actually came here in his first win as a starter, and then the other games it's been a little bit of a tough road for Jeremy, as this team has really kind of hit him better than anybody else in the American League East. But he's one of those guys that's a student going to try to figure out how to neutralize the effects of those early games and make some adjustments.
1-0 on Pat Burrell, and a little low ball too. Burrell signed as a free agent. Following last season, he played against Tampa Bay in the World Series as a member of the Phillies, and now he is the main DH for Joe Madden. Well, good hack, and he fouled it back. 2-1.
Well, they were weak against left-handed starters last year, so they brought in Pat Burrell to neutralize the effect. They won 97 games, but just 25-24 against left-handed starters.
1 out, none on. 2-1 on Burrell. High pop, right field. Markakis back on it, has a play. 2 down. Well, Guthrie has started the night. 5 up and 5 down. No time now for the Maryland Lottery. Tonight's contestant, Dorothy Reynolds of Crofton. Dorothy has a chance to win $99 worth of American Classics scratch-off tickets from the Maryland Lottery for every Oriole home run hit in the game tonight. And already 1 home run has been hit. You could have a chance to win as well. Just log on to massonsports.com. And Dorothy Reynolds of Crofton right now is a huge Melvin Mora fan. First ball swinging is Matt Joyce. He pops it up. Zahn finds it, throws the mask, has it. And Jeremy Guthrie has a 3-up, 3-down inning. And Jeremy will pick up the mask for Greg Zahn. Bottom of the second coming up. 5-0 O's. Orioles baseball on Masson is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. And by PNC. PNC leading the way. Oriole Park, you get out to Utah Street. All kinds of food and beverages out there. Book's Barbecue. And back inside Camden Yards. Bottom of the second, here's Brian Roberts coming up to lead off. He got the Birds started in the bottom of the first as the Orioles batted around and scored 5 times against Jeff Neiman. Brian doubled in the first. He's extended his hitting streak now to 5 consecutive games to begin the year. And Neiman gets a generous call in the outside corner there. 0-1. Ryan now 31 years old, Buck, in his 9th season. 0-2 the count. He worked very hard when he burst onto the scene. There was the battle between Brian and Jerry Hairston for the second base position, the guy that would be the second baseman of the future. And when Jerry Hairston was eventually traded, that's when Brian took off. No longer looking over his shoulder.
Yeah, and you know, they were good friends and they had a friendly competition, but still the distraction of trying to win a job every single day can be a burden. And now he is truly the second baseman now and for the future. Signing an extension, 4-year extension, will keep him here. And you know, it's encouraging that Brian would commit to the organization as much as they have committed to him, because that shows you that he believes they're headed in the right direction. I mean, he could have been a free agent at the end of this year had he not signed the extension.
1-2 the count on him. Jones and Markakis will follow in the second. And he fouls it off to stay alive.
Now, I've seen a much better quality pitch from Jeff Neiman so far. That fastball down and away. I just think he got very tentative early on and didn't use his fastball as effectively as Joe Madden wanted, and that's why the manager went out and talked to him in the middle of the first inning.
1-2 is skied to left. Crawford moves in on it. And he has it for the out and 1 away. Now, tomorrow, the Orioles and Rays conclude the 3-game set here at Camden Yards. A 1:35 Easter Sunday finale. Final game of the season opening homestand. Great seats remain for the first Sunday game of the season. And tickets start at just $9. So come on out and join us as part of your Easter Sunday. For details, 888-848-BIRD, or just get online at Orioles.com.
I like the chocolate malted Easter eggs. I don't like the marshmallow bunnies, so don't bring me any marshmallow bunnies tomorrow.
All right, wait a minute. Say that again. Chocolate?
No, yeah, no marshmallow bunnies.
Chocolate mint?
No, malt.
Malt.
Chocolate
malt
Easter eggs.
Easter.
Thank you.
Okay. I will be all over that tonight.
Thank you.
I want to make sure my partner up here is happy. Adam Jones. Ooh. Funky swing there, and it's 0-2.
Good breaking ball right there. Hard curveball from Neiman. He's pitching much more aggressively. It looked like he was trying to feel his way through that first inning. That's a good breaking ball. Tight spin, tough to pick up. That it is a curveball, and Jones swings well over the top of it.
And he waved at it again. So there's Navarro. He saw the swing, and the result came back with the same pitch. For a strikeout, 2 men down.
Generally, a pitcher will try to make that second curveball better than the first one, but Neiman didn't do that right there. Threw basically the same pitch in the same spot, and again, Jones fooled by the velocity and the break.
A different pitcher out here in the second inning. Jeff Neiman, 26 years old. He's out of Houston, Texas. Pitched in college at Rice in Houston. And there's a strike to Markakis, 0-1. In 2004, when he was drafted, Neiman, Markakis RBI double his first at bat. He was the 4th overall pick. Breaking balls low. Markakis checked his swing. Matt Bush of San Diego, who was the shortstop at the time out of high school. He got a lot of money. Now he's trying to become a pitcher, and he's no longer in the Padres organization. He was number 1. Justin Verlander went number 2 to the Tigers. Philip Humber went number 3 to the Mets, and then Neiman number 4 to Tampa Bay. And Neiman is hoping this is the first full season in the big leagues.
Well, and you can see why Neiman would impress scouts to the point of making him the 4th overall pick. Big, strong guy, a lot of power, good arm, and a very good delivery. Oftentimes when you see a pitcher that's this big, there's a lot of moving parts. He has a tendency to struggle with his command. That was never a problem for Neiman coming out of college. Got a very polished delivery.
So he's 6 feet 9 inches tall, listed at 260. 3-1 to Markakis. Line drive. There's another base hit for Nick. Crawford will cut it off to keep it to a single. So Markakis, with his 3rd multi-hit game already on the year, he's 2 out of 2 on a 2-out single in the 2nd inning.
8 for 16 so far for Markakis, and everybody in this order, as we mentioned, swinging with a lot of confidence right now.
Aubrey Huff will bat with a man on, and once again we'll see Tampa Bay have the shift. Now I know you don't want your cleanup hitter to be bunting, but I'd love to see Aubrey just bunt once. Just push it to third base and get a base hit. Tonight's leaderboard presented by Firestone, a tradition of innovation.
Now the Orioles leading the pack with 19 walks ahead of Detroit, Cleveland, and Minnesota. You're having good at bats with that. You have a real good approach. Take those borderline pitches, work the pitcher for walks. Another thing it does is, outside of just putting a base runner on, it makes your team get a better look at the pitcher. You see more pitches. You get a little better idea what he's throwing. It's just an overall better approach to take pitches and have an idea what you're dealing with.
2-0 to Huff. Grounded towards the hole. The second baseman Iwamura is there, waits on it, and gets Huff. Inning ends. Base hit, man left. We'll head to the 3rd at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. Nice night in the Inner Harbor. Nice night for the O's in a 5-0 lead. Of the first, and the Orioles with a 5-0 lead as we head to the 3rd inning. Welcome back to Oriole Park. Jim Hunter with Buck Martinez, and where the Orioles are in their building plan, it's beyond a rebuilding. They are building. How much confidence are they gaining, and how will that help as they prepare to go on the first road trip?
Well, I think they're gaining a lot of confidence. Certainly when you take 2 out of 3 from the Yankees and possibly 2 out of 3 from the reigning division champ Tampa Bay Rays, you've got to gain a lot of confidence. But I think Dave Tremblay's done a real good job here putting this lineup together. We've talked about the top of the order with Roberts, Jones, and Markakis. It gives you balance. It gives you speed. It gives you power. A little bit of everything. And I think that's really important for this lineup, Jim. I think they've got a lot of confidence right now. They can score runs against anybody anytime in a ball game.
And, you know, you talk about that balance and what we have seen over
over the first week here is the Orioles have been getting contributions top to bottom. We talked about the top three in the lineup, how consistent they have been, but really you look at every hitter, they're all getting big hits.
Yeah, they sure are. They're having great approaches. That's testimony to Terry Crowley trying to encourage everybody to use the whole field, and that's what they're doing. You don't have to look any further than Melvin Moore and the way he's driven in runs the last two nights and the way he has used the whole field, thinking about the opposite field and making sure he doesn't waste those run-producing opportunities.
Diana Navarro, as you get a nice look at Melvin Moore. Grand slam in the first inning. Gabe Gross on deck, and then Jason Bartlett, 2-1 the count on him. Just missed ball 3. Guthrie retired the side. 3 up, 3 down on the first. 3 up, 3 down in the second. Looking for his second one on the year. Jeremy now 30 years old. Sharply towards the hole. A diving stop by Huff. He gets up, flips to Guthrie, and 1 away. So Aubrey gets the job done and 1 out here in the third inning. The Cal Ripken Senior Collegiate Baseball League will be hosting the Valley Baseball League in the Mid-Atlantic Classic. It comes your way on July 15th at Regency Furniture Stadium in Waldorf. So coming out and catch where Orioles Aubrey Huff, Luke Scott, Chris Ray, and LJ Hose all launched their careers. Or see all the action live on Masson HD. Game time 7:05. Come out early for the Home Run Derby at 5:30. Admission is free, but your donation will be greatly appreciated. Just log on to ripkenscollegebaseball.org or call 410-588-9900 for more information. And there's the first base hit of the day as Gabe Gross gets it past Brian Roberts for a 1-out single. So,
this is a challenge for a starting pitcher when you get up to a lead like this, 5-0 early in the ball game, and Jeremy Guthrie is conscious of using all of his pitches. Gabe Gross expected to get a first pitch fastball. Roberts dives for it, but it's well beyond his reach at second base into center field. First base runner of the night for Tampa Bay.
So now we'll see how Guthrie adjusts. First time tonight, Buck pitching from the stretch, and he's facing his 9th batter. And Bartlett goes after the fastball and fouls it back. Jason Bartlett picked up prior to last season in a big trade with the Minnesota Twins, and may have been the key move in Tampa Bay turning it around and eventually winning the American League pennant last year and going to the World Series. Fouled off his foot, and it's 0-2.
Well, they improved dramatically defensively when they put Jason Bartlett out there. He made 122 starts at shortstop last year, and that had always been a sore spot defensively for the Rays, but he tightened up the infield defense, and then you factor that in with Longoria coming up to play third base. He was more moving from third to second base, and the Gold Glover at first base, Carlos Pena, really tightened up the defense.
Guthrie ahead 0-2. Gross a small lead off first. Just missed. So the slider does not entice Jason Bartlett. So Jeremy Guthrie pitched on opening day, and he was 29 years old. Then on Thursday he turned 30. Or excuse me, on Wednesday he turned 30. So it's his first start as a 30-year-old. This is outside 2-2. Jason Bartlett is of Filipino descent, and he is still in the prime of his career, just 29 years old. Already in his 3rd organization in the pros. High pop. That'll be back out of play over the Oriole dugout.
Now, Bartlett started out in San Diego, went to Minnesota, played with the Twins for a while, and then came over here to Tampa Bay along with Matt Garza for Delman Young, and both Garza and Bartlett had a dramatic impact on the fortunes of this ball club. Garza taking over in the starting rotation, and Bartlett becoming a MVP, the team MVP at shortstop.
And you talked earlier about the Orioles seeing the Tampa Bay plan and how they got it done. And Bartlett made a huge difference defensively, in particular, for Tampa Bay. And Andy McPhail this past offseason went out. He got a Gold Glove shortstop of his own and picked up Cesar Estores to solidify the Orioles defense. Tampa Bay actually scored fewer runs last year when they batted than the year before, but they won so many more games because of their defense.
Man, and the defense gave confidence to the pitching staff. They became more aggressive. They cut down their walks, and because of that, they improved dramatically.
Slice towards the gap in right center field. Long run for Markakis. He won't get there, and it bounces up into the crowd. That'll be a ground rule double. So heading to third and holding there is Gross, and Tampa Bay has its first threat of the night. Second and third and one down.
Bartlett stays on this pitch. It's just up a bit. They were trying to go down and away. Watch the target of the catcher and where the ball ends up. It's up out over the plate, and he stays on it. Another good example of hitters using the entire field, not trying to pull a ball to do damage. He just drove it up the power alley to the opposite field.
Well, that turns the lineup around. Here's Iwamura. Iwamura grounded out to second base to lead off the game. Orioles have the infield back. They'll give up a run to get an out. There's a good pitch. Right on the outside corner, 0-1.
Now that's a good statement, and people might wonder why you give up a run to take an out. Early in the ball game, you don't want to draw your infield in. That increases the ability of the hitter to drive it through the drawn in infield, and a base hit would lead to 2 runs. So you'll take that second out of the inning and concede the runner from third base.
Zorn called the same pitch, and Guthrie hit the same spot. 0-2 on Iwamura. Guthrie making his 80th major league appearance tonight. There's Zorn flashing the signs. Here's the 0-2, slow curveball hit back towards the mound, and now Gross caught in a rundown. The flip to Melvin Mora, home to Zorn, who will fly the tag. So nicely done by Guthrie there, because Gross broke on contact, and Guthrie's first look was to third base.
Second time in the last 2 days we've seen Tampa Bay make base running mistakes. Watch the reaction at third base. Gross breaks for home before the ball clears the mound. Guthrie's a very good fielder. We mentioned that in the top of the show, and here an easy throw to Zahn, who applies a tag to Gross. Gross breaks on contact, but the ball didn't get past the pitcher. So Guthrie does the appropriate thing, makes Gross commit back to third. One throw and the out at the plate.
Yeah, Melvin Mora, Buck, as soon as he got that ball fired to the plate, that's a little too tight to Carl Crawford, because Jason Bartlett, the trail runner, was already on third base. So Melvin knew that there was nowhere for Gross to go except to the plate, and he fired home. So alert baseball by both Guthrie and Mora. Iwamura hustled all the way out to second base, so it's the same situation, second and third, but now 2 men down. And it's fouled back, 1-1 on Carl Crawford.
And that's very important. A pitcher that can field his position. Third game against the Yankees in that opening series, Brian Bass had a comebacker to the mound. He airmailed the catcher. That led to 2 Yankee runs, and then the game was out of hand. You make the play. Simple plays like that can turn the game around and rob the other team of any scoring opportunities.
Fastball backs him off the plate. 2 balls and a strikeout, Carl Crawford.
The strikeout in the first inning came on a 2-seam fastball that broke back over the inside corner. Crawford was caught looking.
Back looked like a slider came in on his fist. 2-2.
Jeremy's made some quality pitches here tonight. Something we didn't see from him in spring training, is he was a little bit behind the curve because he didn't have many innings in his absence from spring training as he pitched for Team USA in the WBC.
Second and third, 2 down, 2-2 the count on Carl Crawford. Guthrie trying to get out of it without allowing a run. Popped him up, foul. That'll be back in the crowd.
This is the previous pitch prior to this one. Listen. That's the benefit of that hockey-style catcher's mask, as Greg Zahn took a bat up side of the head as Crawford, fighting off that inside slider, had a long follow-through and clipped the catcher right on top of the helmet.
That is a mean looking Oriole he has painted on the side of that. Another count holding 2-2. Popped him up. Cesar Asturias waits, and he'll make the catch, and Guthrie gets out of it. So 2 hits, but 2 left. Nice night at the ballpark, and a 5-0 Oriole lead.
Third inning, Melvin Moore will lead it off. In the first inning, Moore did all the damage. Hanging breaking ball from Jeff Neiman with the bases loaded. Melvin hits his 3rd career grand slam to put the Orioles up 5-0. Melvin over the last 2 nights has driven in 7 runs. Had a big night last night, hit with the bases loaded as well, and drove a ball to the opposite field to drive into. And he has started off big tonight with a grand slam.
They're looking from center field. And here is Melvin.
He's not going to like hitting without any base runners.
Hey, where is everybody?
Come on, you guys, get out there. We need somebody on base.
Well, we talked about Carl Crawford being the longest tenured Tampa Bay Ray. Melvin Mora is the longest tenured Oriole. Here is Carl Crawford in left field, and Melvin was picked up in a trade with the Mets in 2000, a trade deadline deal. The Mets were heading towards the playoffs and eventually World Series that year, and they had shortstop problems, and they wanted Mike Bordick, and Sid Thrift was the GM at the time, and he said, okay, you can have Bordick, but if I send you Bordick, I don't have anybody to play shortstop, so you got to give me Melvin Mora. And the Mets didn't want to give up Melvin Mora because he was such a valuable utility player for that team. Well, Melvin came here. He played shortstop the remainder of that year. In the offseason, Mike Bordick re-signed with the Orioles as a free agent, and Melvin went to the outfield. But he is the longest tenured Oriole coming here in the 2000 season. Neiman's ahead of him 1-2. And he got it. Good off-speed breaking ball. Down 1 away in the 3rd inning. Well, don't forget about T-shirt Tuesdays returning to Oriole Park Tuesday, April 21st. First 10,000 fans 15 and over receive a Koji Uehara Orioles T-shirt. Plus, if you enter the Koji T-shirt Tuesday VIP Experience sweepstakes by getting online at Orioles.com, you could win 4 VIP seats and the opportunity to watch batting practice from the field. To enter, just get online at Orioles.com. That is going to be a very popular T-shirt.
It sure will be. Uehara off to a great start, winning his first major league start. Interesting today, he had his side session, and a very extended side session with Rick Kranitz, the pitching coach, and Alan Dunn, the bullpen coach, as they went down there. Just trying to get used to Uehara and his routine, somewhat different than a traditional major league pitcher throwing a side session. A few more pitches, a little more refinement. Uehara very meticulous in his approach, like so many of his countrymen, in the way they prepare for things, and he has to adjust to pitching in a 5-man rotation. In Japan, the starters pitch once a week. And they basically pitch in a 6-man rotation.
Strike 3 right at the knees as Darrell Cousins liked the pitch. Back-to-back Ks and 2 men down.
Well, Joe Maddon's going to have to remember what he said to Jeff Neiman in that first inning after he fell behind, because he's been a different pitcher ever since. Came out in the second inning and gave up a single to Nick Markakis, but since then has racked up 2 strikeouts here to start the third.
Now has 3 strikeouts. PA on the ground to short. Bartlett has it. Gets it across, and a very good inning for Jeff Neiman as the Orioles go 3 up and 3 down. We'll head to the 4th. The Birds are in front. Baseball on Masson is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. And by H&R Block. When you've got H&R Block, you've got people. A lovely view of the Inner Harbor, now inside from center field at Oriole Park. Thanks for joining us tonight. Jim Hunter, Buck Martinez, Amber Theo Harris, and our fine, hardworking crew as the Orioles try to make it back-to-back wins over Tampa Bay and ensure winning both series on this season-opening week-long homestand. Longoria first ball swinging, fouls it off. Longoria grounded out to third base his first at bat. And there's a base hit right off the end of the bat. Soft line drive to center field, and Tampa Bay has its third base hit. Fans, don't forget about the Junior Orioles Dugout Club, all presented by Chick-fil-A. It's the perfect group for all fans 14 and under. Kids get tickets to 10 games. You get a Dugout Club hat, membership card, and more, all inside a collectible lunchbox, and all for just $17. Members even get exclusive giveaway items at each game, and family and friends can join their Dugout Club members at a game for just $6. 888-848-BIRD, onlineorioles.com, or just stop by any Chick-fil-A restaurant. Well, for the first time in this game, Tampa Bay has the leadoff man on. Check swing, and he went too far. As Pena's down in the count, 0-1.
Well, Carlos Pena has really been a thorn in the Orioles' side the last couple of years. Last year he had 25 RBIs against the Orioles in 18 games. I mean, he has just absolutely worn them out. 11 home runs over the last 2 seasons against the Birds, and they've just got to try to change their patterns up a little bit and try to neutralize the impact of Carlos Pena's big left-handed bat. Most home runs since 2007. Carlos Pena with 78. He's 5th on that list. Very impressive power hit. Jim, you made a point earlier about how Carlos Pena took a while to really blossom as a hitter. Former #1 pick, came out of Northeastern in Boston, drafted by the Texas Rangers. He's a lot like Adrian Gonzalez of the Padres. A guy that took a little bit longer to really find his stroke and learn the strike zone and become the powerful hitter they thought he would be initially.
And the Orioles had the shift on against him. He serves it the other way. Well, Tampa Bay looking to chip back in as 2 on with none out. Good piece of hitting there, just going with the pitch.
Well, Jeremy Guthrie made another real good pitch on Pena, and all he could do is just kind of hit it off the end of the bat to the opposite field. This is where the benefit of the shored up infield defense can really serve Jeremy Guthrie well. With his Sturis at shortstop now, you get a ground ball off the bat of Pat Burrell, and you can erase the impact of those leadoff base hits.
And a pitch taken a little low by Pat Burrell. As we saw last night, you don't take anything for granted with a lead. The Orioles last night had a 5-1 lead and won the game, but won it 5-4. Good pitch there, off speed, fooled them. 1-1. Longoria at second after a leadoff single. Pena at first following a single. And now Pat Burrell flied out his first at bat. And Guthrie somewhat more deliberate tonight, Buck, than he normally is.
Well, I think he should be too. I think he's very aware of Tampa Bay and how they have hit him in the past. He just wants to make sure he's thinking about every pitch.
Pops up Burrell. Infield fly rule is called. Aubrey Huff has it for the out and one away, and a big out. Getting the dangerous home run threat, and the runners have to hold.
I think sometimes pitchers get in a rush and actually pitch before they're ready, just because they hear so much, let's work quick, let's work quick. I think there's a difference between working quickly and being rushed, and a lot of pitchers don't interpret working quickly properly. You can work quickly by towing the rubber, getting your sign, but you don't want to be rushed to the point where you're making pitches before you really have time to think about the execution.
And I love that, because among the many things I love about baseball is there's no clock. You know, just play the game. Joyce takes a strike. Tampa native now playing for his home region team. The Rays play in St. Petersburg on the other side of the bay. It's still nice for Joyce to play at home. Joyce last year split his season between AAA Toledo and the Tigers, but the Tigers really in need of pitching, and Tampa Bay, because of their drafting so well and developing so well, they found themselves with a surplus of pitching, so they dealt Edwin Jackson, who was on their team last year, and helped them get to postseason. He went to Detroit for Joyce. Good eye, a little bit low, 2-1.
It sounds like it might be a pretty high price to pay for Matt Joyce, giving up Edwin Jackson, who won 14 games for Tampa Bay a year ago. But Joyce hit 12 home runs and 242 at bats last year for the Tigers.
2-1 the count. Runners lead first and second. And it's low ball 3. Well, you talk about drafting well. Here are some of the cream of the crop. And again, it's not only whom you're able to draft, it's whom you're able to acquire.
Well, and you can see Evan Longoria and B.J. Upton, both first-round picks of the Tampa Bay Rays, and then they identified Pena as a guy they wanted to bring into the mix.
Popped him up left side of the infield. Infield fly rule is called. Melvin Moore is there, and 2 men down. Now, in contrast, here's a look at the Orioles' first-round picks, and the bottom 3 are first-round picks that you'll be seeing here in the future. How soon, we don't know, but certainly players in the mix.
Yeah, and it's not an accident. There are so many first-round picks in this ball game tonight. Obviously, they're most talented players, whether they're high school players or collegiate players. But Guthrie was a 22nd-round pick in 2002. Adam Jones, a #1 pick of the Mariners. Nick Markakis, a #1 pick of the Orioles. And there's just so much talent at the top part of the draft, but you really have to land a player that's going to turn into a major leaguer. You make a mistake in your first-round pick, and it really sets your organization back a couple of years.
And you have to identify what type of player that player might be. And in the case of Nick Markakis, he was pitching in junior college, and most organizations felt he was a better prospect as a pitcher. Tony DeMacio, who was the Orioles scouting director at the time, disagreed. He thought his future was as a hitter. And Tony, who is here tonight scouting for the Atlanta Braves, I think Tony was correct in his assessment that Nick Markakis, his future was as a hitter.
And I will never forget the first time Markakis took batting practice with the Orioles right after he signed, and I looked at him and said, boy, this guy isn't very big. I don't see how they project him as being a power hitter. Boy, he has been everything Tony expected and more.
Sharply grounded foul off the bat of Navarro. That's why baseball is interesting in how players are selected and then B, developed, because you really don't know when you draft a player. Has he peaked? Is he going to get better? Is he going to become a star? There is the scouting section tonight. Now 1-2 to count. Again, sharply ground a foul off a breaking ball. But as you mentioned, you hope that you don't miss, in particular with the higher picks, because that's where the most money gets invested and the chance to turn it around quicker and add depth to your organization more frequently.
Well, and everybody matures and develops at a different rate. And Jeremy Guthrie was waved out of the Cleveland organization because he didn't develop in a timely fashion. At least the Indians didn't think so. So the Orioles benefit by that decision, and here Guthrie is leading the starting rotation.
1-2 is just inside. Either Navarro was fooled by that slider or he has a very good batting eye. That was a close pitch to take.
Well, watch his body as he's thinking out over the plate, and that ball was down and in. Looked like it was a strike according to pitch tracks.
See the runners, Longoria at second, Pena at first, 2 men down. And he got him. Another slider. What a beauty. That one bit down to the glove of Greg Zaun. So 2 hits to begin the inning, 2 left. Middle of the 4th, and a 5-0 Oriole lead. On sale now at the ballpark, just $5. First edition features Nick Markakis and Brian Roberts, and inside information about all your favorite Orioles from the past, the present, and the future. And you can subscribe for a yearly subscription by just going to Orioles.com. And Buck, I have my first copy of Orioles magazine here, and there are lovely features in here. Here's a nice one on Koji Uehara. All kinds of pictures from spring training, and of course, you can't get enough of Brian and Nick if you're an Oriole fan.
No, it's a great magazine. Certainly the first edition this season, loaded with a lot of new players, a lot of information on Koji Uehara, and talking about signing these 2 star players, Markakis and Brian Roberts, for the long haul.
And there is Koji on the Orioles bench. He will pitch on the road trip in Texas. Greg Zaun leading off, and the count 1-1. Oh my goodness, how did I miss that? Ladies and gentlemen, you must buy the first edition of Orioles magazine, because as I thumbed through, I completely overlooked the feature, the Q&A with Buck Martinez.
Yeah, I thought you were just ignoring it.
Masson's voice of experience, says the headlines. Experience.
Yeah, that means I'm old. That's all. Just old.
Buck Martinez gives fans a view of the game that few others can match. Zong sharply to first. Pena picks it cleanly and runs to the bag and one away.
Well, I tell you what, since that first inning, Jeff Neiman has settled down, and after he gave up the grand slam home run and the base hit to tie Wigginton, he retired Piazon and Asturias to end the first. Joe Madden went out there in that first inning, had a little talk with his big right-hander, and whatever he said, Neiman's got to remember that. He's been much more aggressive, used his fastball more efficiently.
And here's Cesar Asturias now batting, 1 out, none on. Cesar switch hitter, which gives the Orioles something they haven't had in quite some time, with Greg Zahn on the team now. 3 switch hitters in the lineup.
Really makes it challenging for the opposing manager to utilize his bullpen when you have these switch hitters 3 in a row. You can't really dominate a lineup when they're going to flip-flop from either side. Asturias is an interesting guy brought in to shore up the defense, and I think people are going to grow to love him. A lot of range, very sure-handed, won a Gold Glove in 2004 with the Dodgers. At that time, the Dodgers probably had the best infield defense in the National League, with Adrian Beltre, Cesar Asturias, Alex Cora, and Sean Green.
There's a bouncer towards the hole. Iwamura covering a lot of ground, and he gets Cesar Asturias for the out and 2 away. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Orioles, may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Orioles. 6 in a row retired by Neiman, 2 outs in the Oriole 4th. And here is Brian Roberts, already batting for a 3rd time in this game. Takes a strike in the outside corner. He didn't think so. So Brian, to begin the year, is hitting all 5 games. Eighth for 17.
Well, Brian talked about his experience with Team USA during the WBC. He was a late-minute addition after a couple of injuries to Dustin Pedroia and Kevin Youkilis, and the intensity of those games and his at-bats really got him focused much earlier.
Slow ground ball towards short. Longoria cuts in front. Off balance throw. He got him. And Neiman has his 2nd consecutive 3-up, 3-down inning. We played 4 at Camden Yards and a 5-0 Oriole lead.
to a great start here tonight. Gets his old nemesis Carl Crawford on inside fastball. Breaking ball gets Dioner Navarro. This is a team that's given him trouble in the past, but not so tonight. Jeremy Guthrie out pitching Jeff Neiman. Neiman was hit for a 5-spot in the first inning, including a grand slam home run off the bat of Melvin Moore, and Jeremy Guthrie has taken full advantage of that early lead.
Well, Jeremy has struck out 2. He has not walked a batter. He's allowed 4 hits. 2 hits in each of the last 2 innings, but Tampa Bay has not been able to score. Gabe Gross fouls it off that mask of Greg Zaun, and it's 0-1. Guthrie, with his win on opening day, now has a winning record as a major league pitcher. He's now 18-17. Here's another former first-round pick, Gabe Gross, drafted by the Toronto Blue Jays. They traded him to Milwaukee. Milwaukee to Tampa Bay. Broke his bat. Markakis in right. 1 down. On this day in history, a day very, very important to Buck Martinez. New York's Giants catcher Roger Bresnahan appeared in a game wearing shin guards, the first catcher in Major League history, and the prototype Buck Martinez wore as a rookie in 1969.
That is amazing that catchers would sit back there behind home plate without shin guards until the Hall of Famer Roger Bresnahan decided he was going to put some sort of padding on his legs. I can't imagine.
Line drive right to his third, sharply hit, but 2 men down.
Kevin Kennedy, who's here with Tampa Bay Rays television crew, is broadcasting the game next door. He too is a catcher, and I said, Kevin, do you know what a special day this is today? He had no idea. Can you believe it?
That's disappointing.
It is disappointing.
You know, you guys are a small group. That's a fraternity.
Yeah. No shin guards.
I wonder if Demper knew that.
He probably did. Demper knows all that stuff about catching.
2 quick outs. Iwamura takes high, 1-0. Maybe the baseball was softer back then. Oh, good fastball. He couldn't catch up to it. 1-1.
Well, Jeremy looks great, and everybody was concerned about Guthrie in the spring, but you know, I just felt like it was a matter of his catching up, getting a few more opportunities to pitch, a few more outings under his belt where he would get command of his pitches. Mechanically, he's always had a very good delivery, under control, pays a lot of attention to his delivery in his side sessions, and that's the essence and the foundation of a pitcher's command, is the ability to repeat your delivery time and time again, using the same delivery to make sure that you can pound the strike zone with all your pitches.
And 1-2 on Iwamura. Guthrie has 2 3-up, 3-down innings. He is an out away from achieving his 3rd in 5 innings. Oh, just missed inside. Tell you what, Greg Zaun, you can see the influence, Buck, because he is encouraging, almost enticing the pitchers to use all 4 quadrants, really moving the ball around.
Well, it's the only way you can really be successful nowadays with so many hitters relying a lot on video. They'll pick up on patterns.
2-2. Oh, just got a piece.
That's a good curveball that Guthrie throws. And Jim, you made a point about pitchers not being able to throw both an effective curveball and a slider, because the mechanical aspect of throwing the curveball is much more different than that of a slider. And oftentimes pitchers can't master both, but Guthrie's done it very effectively.
And again, just outside. So Iwamura with a very good batting eye, being selective, and he's worked the count full.
You can see the glove of Zaun trying to bring that pitch back into the strike zone to give the umpire Darrell Cousins a real good look at him.
And the 3-2 is tap foul. Well, Iwamura may be in just his 3rd season here, but he had 8 full years playing in the Japanese major leagues, and Tampa Bay signed him. He played 3rd base in his 1st season, keeping that position warm for Longoria. And then he moved over to 2nd base last year. He had played just 1 game in his career at 2nd base in Japan. And now he's a full-time 2nd baseman. Line drive caught by Aubrey Huff. Another shot that is hit right near an Oriole. And Huff has it for the out. We're going to the bottom of the 5th. Markakis, Huff, And more to bat for the Birds.
Lead 5-0 in the 5th inning, and I'm joined now by Olympic silver medalist Katie Hoff, who is from here in Baltimore. And I know that you got a little package to get some season tickets for the Orioles. Are you a big fan?
Yeah, when I moved here, I started kind of going to some games a little bit, and my boyfriend's really, really huge fan, so that's kind of the reason why I wanted to be a ticket holder and just have some fun with him going to the games.
It was so exciting for Baltimore to watch you in the 2008 Summer Olympics in Beijing. I know you won a silver medal there. What is next for you now?
Next, we have World Championship trials in July, and then hopefully, if I qualify, it'll be Worlds in Rome.
Going to head over there probably with Michael Phelps. I know another Baltimorean. You two train together?
Yeah, we're training together right now. He's moved back from Michigan, so it's been nice having him around and, having him motivate me to, do even better.
Now, quickly, who's your favorite Oriole? I know everybody has one.
Brian Roberts.
Oh, Brian Roberts. We could have guessed that. All the young women love Brian Roberts. Thanks so much for being here, Katie.
Thank you so much.
All right, let's go back to Jim and Buck.
All right, Amber, thank you. And Katie, now a student at Loyola University and an Oriole fan and a season ticket holder. That's what you like to see.
What a tremendous accomplishment to be an Olympian and to compete internationally the way Katie's doing. A tremendous athletic commitment for sure.
Adam Jones leads off. Skies it to right towards the line. Long run in for Gabe Gross. Still coming on. Gets there at foul ground. Makes the catch. So Jones has retired for the first out in the 5th inning.
8 in a row now retired by Jeff Neiman after a very rocky start to the ball game. He's settled in very nicely.
Well, and what he has done for Joe Madden at a minimum, Buck, is he has saved that long man now from having to come into the game too early. Quick turnaround with a day game tomorrow. Those day games after night games, you like to use as few of those relievers as possible.
Well, and Joe's got James Shields going to the mound tomorrow against scheduled starter Adam Eaton. Adam, remember, hasn't been added to the roster just yet, but he is penciled in to start tomorrow.
Markakis takes ball 1.
There's James Shields, who came through the organization, and he was not a #1 pick. He was down in mid-teens in the draft, and it just identifies that you don't have to have all super athletic #1 picks in the organization. Sometimes you'll find diamonds in the rough like James Shields.
1-on-1 on Nick Markakis, and Joe Madden is of the school, at least the first time through the rotation, to pitch his 5 starters in order, even with the off day. And the pitch outside. Of course, they were rained out on opening day, so they played Tuesday. So even if he wanted to go the route that most managers like to go and get your #1 starter back in there in 5 days rest, it basically was taken away from him. There's Crawford, foul ground in left field, and 2 down, 2 foul ball outs. Now, when you were a manager, did you keep your top pitchers on turn, or did you just run all 5 out there like Bobby Cox likes to do?
Well, at that point, I didn't have too many top pitchers, so it didn't make much difference.
Well, that's why you're here with me.
Joe Madden certainly has some top pitchers, but what he did in spring I thought was very interesting, given the extra time they had in spring training. He didn't start his pitchers until the second week of exhibition games. He kept everybody back because they pitched nearly into November with the World Series. So instead of running them out there right at the start of exhibition season, he brought them along very slowly and made sure that they didn't get worn out in March.
Well, Neiman just 26 years old. This last year he spent the bulk of the year in the minor leagues. But they are trying to see if the Rays will have any kind of the lingering effect, what they call the year after. First time in particular that you have a run to get into postseason. How will your arm be affected, if at all, the following season?
Well, they talk about the extra workload. I'm not really big on that. I just think it's all how your individual pitchers handle it, how they take care of themselves in the offseason, how they prepare for the subsequent season, and what they're going to do to address the upcoming year.
And Aubrey Huff goes against the shift for a base hit. So Huff is on with a 2-out single. He now has hits in 4 of the 5 games the Orioles have played, and in back-to-back games he's gone the other way.
And you see Carlos Pena talking to Aubrey Huff. Take a look at this swing. That pitch is away. All he does is takes that top hand and drops the head on that ball and shoots it into left field. Pena's saying, Aubrey, you're going to be a punch and Judy now, or you're going to try to hit the ball out of the ballpark? You're going to take those weak singles with 2 outs? Little good-natured ribbing going on between a couple of first basemen.
Well, Melvin Moore now with the runner on. And it's outside and low. Well, obviously, Joe Madden would prefer that Aubrey Huff hits singles than home runs, but the more he does that, maybe the shift will start to even out a little bit. He's still a base runner. Ball too high.
Well, I talked to Luke Scott before the game tonight and asked him about the shift they used against him, as dramatic as the one they used against Aubrey Huff. And I said, is that a little bit different? He said, yeah, it's a lot more exaggerated this year than I've seen in the past. And we'll have to see if that doesn't straighten out a little bit as the season wears on.
Melvin takes high, ball 3.
If you allow it to, it can be a distraction to a hitter that looks up and sees big open spaces on the defense, and you might try to shoot there and go away from your strength.
And he misses badly inside, a 4-pitch walk. That is the second walk allowed by Neiman. He's also hit a batter, and after 2 men down, the Orioles have first and second. And Ty Wigginton coming up. Ty Wigginton is fitting in very nicely with this team. He just looks like a baseball player. Come on, guys, let's play 9.
Yeah, Wigginton started out with the Mets and then played with Pittsburgh and Tampa Bay, and really kind of came into his own down in Houston last couple of years, where he became a 20 home run hitter.
Orioles looking for a 2-out run. Ty is 1 out of 2 in the game so far. Curveball's high. Still nobody getting loose in that Tampa Bay pen. You see Huff at second, Moore at first. And here's Jim Hickey, the pitching coach, out for a chat with Neiman.
Yeah, I think Hickey just saw that Neiman was rushing a little bit and just wants to slow him down here with 2 outs. See if he can't strand these 2 base runners. Aubrey Huff got the 2-out base hit, and then Melvin Moore had the 2-out walk. And it's as if Neiman just kind of got ahead of himself on those last several pitches. And after the ball to Wigginton, the pitching coach Jim Hickey shot out of the dugout just to see if he can't help his big right-hander regroup a little.
Those 2 out of 3 in this situation. Aubrey Huff is in scoring position. The Orioles have excelled in these spots on the year. Curveball swung on and popped up to shallow center. Moving in on it, Matt Joyce. He gets there for the out, so the pitching coach has a say, and Neiman gets out of it. We played 5 on a nice cool evening in Baltimore. O's lead at 5-0. Of the homestand at 1:30, and then it's off to Texas for 3, day off, and then 4 in Boston. Oriole fans, when it comes to tickets, you deserve Major League service. Go to StubHub, the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the Baltimore Orioles. And of course, before and after every Masson game, it is O's Extra, and at home games coming to you from the ballpark. The beautiful new set in center field. Carl Crawford leads off for Tampa Bay. Guthrie has been very strong tonight. Crawford first ball swinging at a fastball, fouls it off.
Boy, he has been in Kyle Crawford's kitchen all night long, crowding him with fastballs, beating him with breaking balls inside. Jeremy Guthrie's done a good job of neutralizing a guy that has hit well against him in the past.
He has allowed only 4 base runners. Outside.
This is another interesting aspect of Zahn's impact.
Look at that nice looking family. All decked out in their Oriole
brand
uniforms.
New Oriole uniforms, huh? You know they're brand new because they don't have any mustard on the front.
That'll come next inning. Get that 6th inning hot dog.
See, brand new. But I was talking about Zahn and the impact he's had. We've talked about how assertive he is with his target, really emphasizing his choice of pitches, but also his experience in the American League East. Playing in Toronto, catching Roy Halladay and A.J. Burnett, he has a different approach that he brings to this team in pitching to the Eastern Division rivals. So the added information, certainly a bonus to this pitching staff.
3-2 on Crawford. Bounce towards first. Huff gets a big hop and a run to the bag unassisted. And 1 down in the Tampa Bay 6th inning. Well, fans, mark your calendars Saturday, April 25th, and get ready to celebrate both of Baltimore's pro sports teams as the first 10,000 fans 15 and over at the game that night will receive a Draft Day O's Ravens rally cap, all presented by Masson. Texas is in town that weekend, so don't miss this unique chance to show your hometown pride in the Orioles and the Ravens. For tickets, 888-848-BIRD or online at Orioles.com. And the other night on O's Extra, Greg Bader brought along the prototype for that hat, and it's a real good looking hat. It has the Ravens purple with the Orioles O, and the back of the hat is white. So if you're an Orioles fan and a Ravens fan, you're going to love that hat.
And because the back of the hat is white, it's a perfect spot for autographs.
Absolutely. Now I like how you're thinking. Longoria 1 out of 2 with a single. You talked about the importance of this division, and with the unbalanced schedule, you'll see each division rival 6 different series during the year, either 18 or 19 games, depending on the season. Last year, the Orioles were 22-50 within the division. And when you want to contend, Joe Maddon's team last year won the division. The Rays were 43-29. And Dave Tremblay knows all about how when you're looking to bridge the gap, the first place you need to look are the teams you're going to be playing more times than not. Markakis back on it. That's going to be over his head and softly against the wall. And Longoria will head into second base with a one-out double, his second hit. Longoria already now with 4 extra base hits, or excuse me, multi-hit games on the year. 4 multi-hit games on the year. It is his 7th extra base hit.
Watch the extension in this swing as that ball's out over the plate. He stays on it and drives it over the head of Markakis high off the scoreboard in right field. No stride whatsoever, just uses his hands and powers through that swing going the opposite way. I mean, he is the complete hitter. He's hit 2 home runs in last night's game, 1 to center, 1 to left, and now he rips a double off the scoreboard in right.
Guthrie will face Pena now with a runner at second and 1 down. Good looking slider, 0-1. Now there's a good call by Zahn, Buck. Pena looking fastball with a runner in scoring position, maybe anxious, and instead it's a slider.
Well, he's done a real good job all night long mixing up the pitches. And remember, he didn't get a chance to see Guthrie an awful lot during spring training, as Jeremy was away from the Orioles with Team USA during the WBC.
0-1 the count. And a little bit high, a ball and a strike. Pena singled his last at bat. He's 1 out of 2. Now this is not a shift per se, Buck, but you see as Torres is shading up the middle. Look at Brian Roberts, how deep he is in right field.
Well, that is a shift in my mind because it's a departure from your normal defense. And Roberts is way out there because Pena hits the ball so sharply to the pull side. He can play that deep, and what it does is it gives him tremendous lateral range, and he still has the arm strength to make the throws from shallow right field.
There's Melvin Mora on the other side of the infield. 1-2 on Pena inside, too tight with a fastball. 2-2. Guthrie worked 6 innings in his start on opening day. He is pitched into the 6th here tonight. Carlos Pena will turn 31 on May 17th. 2-2 the count on him with Longoria at second and 1 down.
Pretty good curveball missed right there. Now, obviously, at this point of the ball game, Guthrie has done a good job of pitching into the 6th inning. He was staked to that early lead, and boy, after that, Jeff Neiman hasn't allowed a thing.
From 1-2 to a full count on Pena. Grounded weakly towards first. Huff wide of the bag will flip to Guthrie. Pena's retired for the second out, moving Longoria to third base. But now 2 down in the inning. Here's Matt Albers getting loose. First time tonight the Orioles bullpen has been active.
Well, we made a point of talking about Carl Crawford and Carlos Pena tonight against Jeremy Guthrie. 1 for 6. Pena has a weak base hit to left field, just a little single to left field in a situation where Guthrie has made some great pitches to a couple of guys that have hit him hard. A little bit of a breather right here with 2 outs as Guthrie had to cover first base. You extend a little energy there, so the veteran's on said, you know what, let me go out and talk to my pitcher right here, let him catch his breath and see if we can't strand this base runner at third base.
Darrell Cousins now will go out and break up the meeting at the mound. And of course, Zahn waited until Cousins got almost all the way out to the mound. And Guthrie at 94 pitches, 5 hits. He has allowed 3 singles and 2 doubles, but no runs, and he has not walked a batter. And there is Longoria, who has 2 of the 5 hits tonight. Pat Burrell now will bat with 2 down. And with a 5-0 lead, that runner at third, Guthrie will go to the full windup and attack Burrell and try to end this inning. Sliders low, 1-0.
We mentioned Zahn's experience pitching to this Tampa Bay team. Last year, he caught Toronto. They held the Rays to a 240 average compared to 283 against the Orioles. And yeah, you can argue, well, they had A.J. Burnett and Roy Halladay, much more experienced pitchers. But at the same time, I'm asking Zahn, hey, how did you guys pitch to these guys? And he can bring that information into the meetings and talk about different things that worked effectively against Tampa Bay's lineup.
1-1 is high, ball 2. Tampa Bay last year finished 13th in team batting, which is pretty amazing when you consider how hitter friendly the Trop is. Bounce towards the hole at short. Asturias has it. He straightens and throws. He got him. And Guthrie gets out of it. So 1-out double. And a man left. 6 strong innings for Jeremy Guthrie. The fans like it. At a 5-0 lead.
First inning, bases loaded, his 3rd career grand slam, part of a 5-run first inning. And then Jeremy Guthrie said, I can work with 5 runs. A very strong outing. Carl Crawford caught looking at a fastball. Deomer Navarro swings and misses a curveball. Jeremy Guthrie with 6 shutout innings. He's been in charge, ahead all night long. Certainly had the cushion early on, but he's made some great pitches against a team that has hit him hard in the past.
And a look at our game summary. You see the 5 in the bottom of the first. Orioles batted around. RBI double by Nick Markakis, and the big blow was the grand slam by Melvin Moore, his first home run on the year. And Jeremy Guthrie, 6 solid innings and the lead, not 1 run allowed. PA leads off for the Orioles. Neiman's still out there. Deals a strike. The way Neiman started this game, Buck, there's no way you would have thought he'd still be out there in the 6th inning.
Well, there's no reason to take him out early on as long as he was going to get straightened out. And it was an opportunity for him to learn some more about pitching. And he's been good. He used his fastball a little more aggressively after that first inning, and it's proved to be very effective for him. He's got a sharp breaking ball that Joe Madden has seen a little more effectively here after that first inning. It was a rough start for him, but he's righted the ship.
He pops it up. Longoria has a play in foul ground. Juan Samuel gets out of his way, and Longoria has it. And Felix P.A. over 3, 1 away in the Orioles' 6th. And here comes Greg Zahn, who is 0 for 2 on the night. He has hit in 3 in a row to begin the year. interesting line for Greg Zaun. He has 3 hits on the season, 1 in each game, and all 3 are doubles. Ball 1 outside.
There's not a player in the big leagues that doesn't want to swing the bat, make a contribution, but a catcher has the benefit of being an asset even if he doesn't swing the bat well. And I think Zaun has done a heck of a job here in his return to the Orioles. This is the organization where he grew up. The original ball club. He was drafted by the Orioles, signed, made his major league debut here with the Orioles, and now he gets a chance to pick up where he left off.
Good eye works the count to 3-0. Neiman made his major league debut last year. It was April 9th. Matt Garza got hurt, went on the DL. Neiman took his spot, and he started and won against the Orioles. That was at Tropicana Field. He went 6 strong innings. He allowed only 1 run on a home run by Nick Markakis. When Garza came back, he went back to AAA, spent the remainder of the year there until he was called up in September after Durham's postseason ended. And Zaun works a 1-out walk. There's the 3rd walk allowed by Jeff Neiman. Fans join Orioles Reach. Pitcher Matt Albers and Orioles scouts and former players. It's the 51st annual Baltimore County Department of Recreation and Parks Baseball Clinic. It comes up on Saturday, April 25th on 9 a.m. until 11:30 at the Bloomsbury Community Center in Catonsville. $5 tickets are limited, must be purchased in advance. Call 410-887-0955 or for more details, OriolesReach.com.
We talk about Albers making that public appearance. He's about ready to make a public appearance here tonight. Looked like he's going to come in to work the top of the 7th inning. He was up at the end of the 6th inning behind Jeremy Guthrie, and now he is resumed throwing, I would assume, to come in and pitch the 7th.
1-0 on Cesar Astúriz. Zaun a small lead off first. And that one high, 2-0. Maybe Neiman is running out of gas.
And Brian Schaus is up for the Rays. Schaus signed in the offseason after pitching with Milwaukee last year. Guthrie with no signs of leaving here after 6. That's good. Now Carlos Pena says, you know what, let me give Jeff a little break here and see if we can't buy him some time. Neiman's done a pretty good job of keeping himself in this ball game.
Zaun being held at first, 1 down. 3-0 on Cesar Astúriz. And there's a strike. Cesar taking all the way. When Cesar Astúriz made his major league debut with Toronto, it was Buck Martinez who wrote his name into the lineup.
Yeah, we had a bunch of good middle infielders at that time. Astúriz and Michael Young played together throughout their growth in the minor league system.
That one badly outside, ball 4, and back-to-back walks.
Yeah, this might be it for big Jeff Neiman. Joe Madden, Jim Hickey, the pitching coach, on the phone to check the status of his left-hander down in that bullpen. And I'd be very surprised if Neiman pitches to Brian Roberts. Shouldn't take Schaus long, and that's the cap off the hat. He is ready to go.
Still no movement off the bench from Joe Madden. Getting a few more tosses as Navarro went out to the mound to talk it over with Neiman. Whereas Tampa Bay's bullpen last year was absolutely fantastic after finishing last in the major leagues in 2007.
And you can see the improvement between 2007 2008. Almost 80 runs of 80 points on the batting average for the opponents. They went from 30th in the major leagues to 1st. And Joe Madden now is going to test that bullpen once again.
Brian Schaus will come on. Jeff Neiman goes 5 in the third innings. He exits on the short end of a 5-0 Oriole lead. The Orioles bat around in the first inning and score 5 runs, but he did give Tampa Bay 5 1/3. Congratulations by his skipper Joe Madden. 6 hits, 5 runs. He has walked 4, 2 here back to back, and struck out 3. And now it is Brian Schaus proving yet again, Buck, if you are left-handed and you can throw, you'll have a job. 40 years old and he's still going strong.
Yeah, he sure is, and he actually spent 2 different stints in the Orioles organization back in 1996. He signed as a minor league free agent, pitched in the minor leagues at Rochester at the time, and then in 2000 again he signed as a minor leaguer. He's actually pitched in Japan, started out in the Pirates organization, most recently spent parts of 2.5 seasons in Milwaukee.
Ryan Roberts will flip over to the right batter's box. Shows bunt, and he takes a strike as Longoria was very deep. Ryan with a little smile. Okay, I saw you back there, just to let you know I'm paying attention. Now Longoria's not sure what to do. Let's see, maybe I'll move in a step. Grounded foul behind T-Bone John Shelby. 0-2 on Roberts.
Well, Schaus' effectiveness is largely in part to the exaggerated sidearm delivery, and he's a guy that comes in more often than not facing a batter or 2 and then exits, so you don't have an awful long look at him to pick up his release point.
Here's the 0-2. It's off the plate. A ball and 2 strikes on Roberts.
Well, Brian did a heck of a job last year improving his batting average from the right side. Coming into last season, he was a career .245 hitter, but during the course of the season hit .313 against lefties.
Schaus is only the 3rd Tampa Bay player to participate in a game at the age of 40. The other 2 were Wade Boggs, who was 41 in 1999, and Fred McGriff, who was 40 when he returned to Tampa Bay to his hometown before retiring. Troy Percival, who is their closer, is 39, and he will turn 40 before the season is over. And here is Schaus with that funky delivery.
Yeah, and you can see he throws an unusual pitch in that he gripped the ball without any seams, and because of that, he gets that real definitive sink down away from Brian Roberts. Not a hard thrower by any means, but a guy that is effective because of the unusual delivery.
There's a ground ball towards the hole. It squirts on through for a base hit. As long the lead runner will be held at 3rd, and the Orioles have the bases loaded and only 1 down. Ryan has a 2-hit game, his 3rd multi-hit game on the young season.
Well, what a good at bat here, and you can see just taking what Schaus gives him, that ball away, and he pokes it past the diving Carlos Pena into right field. 2 hits in 4 trips tonight for Bryant.
Well, Bryant already has 9 hits on the season in this, the Orioles' 5th game, and here's Adam Jones. Adam is hitless on the night, but he has been on base once. 5 for 19 with a home run with the bases loaded in his career. Good look there, 1-0.
But here's where batting in the 2 spot can really pay dividends for Adam. With the bases loaded, he's taken a lot of pitches since hitting in the 2 spot, and he needs to take a pitch or 2 to get a feel for Brian Schaus's pitches.
There's the pitch on the outer edge, catches the corner.
You can see that Schaus pitched Roberts away and continues to pitch Adam Jones away, so you've got to go with the pitch and try to drive it to the power alley in right center.
Takes low, ball 2. The center fielder, Matt Joyce, is a step or 2 towards right center, but Crawford is a step towards the left field line. So you see there's a lot of room at that left field gap, not quite as much in that right field gap. Chop towards shortstop, charging Bartlett to second one. He will more back to first, not in time, and a run scores. So Adam Jones hustling down the line. That'll be an RBI ground out, and the Orioles have a 6-0 lead.
Jason Bartlett, the shortstop, had a little trouble digging the ball out of his glove, and a momentary bobble may have cost him an opportunity for the double play. Big 2-hopper to shortstop. Little hesitation before he shovels to Iwamura, and Jones hustles down the line. There's the little bobble, just a momentary hesitation when he went into that glove, and that allows Zahn to come in to score on the fielder's choice. Jones gets an RBI.
Zahn, who walked with 1 down, comes in, and here's Markakis. Runners at first and third now with 2 down. Breaking ball just does nick the corner. Markakis looks back at Darryl Cousins saying, "You sure?" Knicks had a good game. Double drove in a run in the first inning rally, then singled in the second. And there's a fastball for a strike, and just like that, Markakis down in the count 0-2.
Yeah, this is a real difficult guy to zero in on if you're a left-handed hitter. First of all, he releases the ball down around his knee, and then it's a crossfire delivery and tough to hang in there.
Slowly hit towards first base. Pena takes it, and the flip to Schaus, who gets there ahead of Markakis. That ends the inning. Orioles do get a run. We'll head to the 7th at Oriole Park on a cool, crisp night and a 6-0 Oriole lead.
in the 7th. Time now for the minor league report. A big night down in Bowie as Troy Patton made his debut as a member of the Orioles organization. If you remember, Troy was traded to the Orioles back in 2008 but didn't pitch a game. He spent the year on the disabled list, and here's how he did. 5 innings of scoreless baseball, 3 hits, 3 walks, and 3 strikeouts. I also want to mention tonight down in Durham, they took on the Norfolk Tides. It was a big matchup between the number 1 and number 2 prospects in the country, David Price for the Tampa organization and Matt Wieters for, of course, the Orioles. Unfortunately, tonight Price got the better of that battle. Wieters went 0 for 4, but Nolan Raimond, who is, of course, a big prospect as far as the outfield is concerned with the Orioles, he got a home run off of David Price. Buck and Jim.
All right, Amber, thank you very much. So Raimond, another home run. He's already hit a couple in the first few games for the Tides. And here's Matt Albers, who takes over for Jeremy Guthrie in the 7th. Matt Joyce, Deanna Navarro, and Gabe Gross will bat here in the 7th, or due up. Looking back, ground ball towards the middle, but there's Cesar Astures. Gets it to first, 1 down.
Matt Albers, 2 innings in the season so far, and coming back from a shoulder injury, just rehabbed that shoulder, trying to build up the strength. So far so good. He's had real good movement on his fastball. He's a fastball, curveball, changeup pitcher that works down in the zone and can have some very quick innings because he pitches to contact.
Deanna Navarro now, he's 0 for 2. Breaking ball for a strike, and 0-1 on the Tampa Bay catcher. Jeremy Guthrie was outstanding tonight. 6 shutout innings, 5 base hits. He struck out 2 and did not walk a batter.
Yeah, he retired the first 7 batters he faced, got himself off to a great start, and had all his pitches. I mean, he is really starting to look like the Jeremy Guthrie we've become so fond of, throwing strikes with all of his pitches, working both sides of the plate, and he was in total command tonight.
Navarro fouls it back. He's down in the count, 1-2. Deanna Navarro, for a young player, he's also been well traveled. He's only 25, out of Venezuela. He originally signed with the Yankees, but he was traded to Arizona, who then traded him to the Dodgers, who then traded him to Tampa Bay. Switch hitting catchers, there aren't very many of those out there.
No, they sure aren't, but I think he was always a guy that other organizations sought whenever they talked trades to the team. And first the Yankees traded him. He came up with an awful lot of hype. And it was only when he arrived here and Joe Madden came over here and they had a very heart-to-heart discussion, a long talk about preparation and leadership in his role, that he's really taken off. And you've got to give Joe Madden an awful lot of credit for the development of Deanna Navarro, because he challenged him to take the responsibility of being a catcher on a competitive ball club, and he's done just that.
2-2 the count, and loops it in the right field for a 1-out single. And Navarro now 1 out of 3. He's on with 1 down. Fans, you can create your own Orioles collectible by using your favorite photos at the photo store at Orioles.com. Very easy. You upload your photo, choose your prints. You can put them on mugs, magnets, and much more. Place your order, and that's it. You're done. 3 easy steps. You can make your own Orioles memories. So get online at Orioles.com. Those youngsters enjoying a memory here tonight, all bundled up. Oriole cap, Oriole jacket. Gabe Gross takes outside, 1-0. Well, the velocity so far of Matt Albers has been encouraging, coming back from a shoulder injury. He did not pitch after June of last year. He had several medical opinions as to what was the best route to take, and you mentioned he chose rehab over surgery.
Yeah, I mean, it's very difficult. There's so many moving parts in your shoulder. When you start to go in there and repair things surgically, you never really know what the outcome's going to be. And there haven't certainly been the same success rate on shoulder surgeries as there have been on elbows. I mean, it's almost a foregone conclusion. You have your elbow done, you're going to come back and pitch effectively again. Not the same with shoulder surgery. Troy Patton, that Amber talked about earlier, had shoulder surgery. And obviously the results of tonight's game very encouraging for him, as he missed the entire season a year ago.
I think the most recent rehab that I can recall that was very successful was Todd Stottlemyre when he was with Arizona.
Yeah, Stottlemyre, late in his career pitching for Arizona, decided against surgery and worked out like a maniac to build up his shoulder. Actually got into a very rigorous heavy weight training program with Olympic weightlifters, and he was able to come back and pitch.
So Albert's hoping he'll have similar fate. 2-2 the count on Gabe Gross with Navarro on at first. Just inside, ball 3.
Yeah, the loss of Matt Albers last year probably had as much of a dramatic impact in a negative fashion as anybody on the team, because at the time he was a very valuable pitcher out of the bullpen. He could match up late in the game. He could set up in the 8th inning. He could give Dave Tremblay 2 and 3 innings of work. He was a very, very valuable pitcher in the bullpen, and then you lost him in June, and it was a real burden to overcome.
Well, ball 4, and he was ahead in the count. So after a ground out, a walk follows a single, and Tampa Bay has 2 on with 1 down in the 7th inning. A 6-0 lead, not what you want to see. Well, the base hit, you can't do much about that, but you don't want to add runners with a walk.
Now, and Rick Granitz has gotten closer to the top step. Looked like he was going to make his way out. Now finally is going to come out and talk to Matt Albers. All the while, Jamie Walker has grabbed the ball, and he starts to loosen up down in the Orioles bullpen.
Jason Bartlett is due up, but behind Bartlett, back-to-back left-handed batters in Iwamura and Crawford.
Yeah, this is part of the strategy a manager and pitching coach use during the course of a game. They see where they are in the bullpen and say, okay, if Matt Albers gets in trouble, we'll turn the lineup over, and then you get to Iwamura and Crawford. We got to have Jamie Walker ready for that part of the order. Even though you've got a 6-run cushion at this point, you certainly don't want to encourage the Rays. They can get back in this game.
Navarro at second, Gross at first. Here's Bartlett. And Matt Albers set to go back to work. And there's a strike. Bartlett looked it over. Bartlett now has a 4-game hitting streak going. His double came in the 3rd inning. He's also lined out hard through the shortstop Esturis. Slider misses outside. Matt Albers was part of the trade that brought Troy Patton to the Orioles, the Miguel Tejada trade. Bounce foul, 1-2. So was Dennis Arfate. He was in that deal as well.
And one of the top pitching prospects in the minors. And you just think about Troy Patton, a guy that is healthy again, and he was certainly a high prospect in the Astros organization. And when they traded for him, they knew he had shoulder problems, but he was such a prospect, they felt like, we'll take care of him, we'll do the rehab, and we'll get him back. Now, of course, they're anxious to see what he can do this year.
1-2 on Bartlett in the dirt. 2-2. And after missing all of last year, what Pat needs to do is build up innings.
Yeah, just a matter of getting back into the flow of pitching during a full season.
And 2-2 on Bartlett. Now's it back.
You know, we have talked about Greg Zahn all night long and his learning the staff here. And when you have a guy like Matt Albers who has such dramatic movement on his fastball, you might not accentuate the corners as much with Albers as you would with Denny Baez, for example, or even Jeremy Guthrie tonight, because his ball will move off the plate. If you ask him to throw it on the corner, you might put him in a hole. So you sit to the bigger part of the plate and let the ball work to the corners. You don't start out that sinker ball on the corner.
2-2 is chopped foul behind Tom Foley, the Tampa Bay third base coach.
When Albers sees the target of Zahn, he's not really aware of where it is. He's going to zero in on the target. Zahn's not moving as dramatically to either corner as he did earlier in the game when Jeremy Guthrie had such good control to both sides of the plate.
Two is just off the plate. Ball 3. Back-to-back hitters. Albers having trouble putting away.
Take a look at the location. 2-2 fastball. Boy, it looked like he was just at the bottom of the strike zone there, according to pitch tracks.
Runners lead first and second, one down. Here's the 3-2, swinging a high pop. He got under it. Left fielder PA towards the line. Felix has it, 2 men down. And there's a big out for Matt Albers, now 2 down in the inning. And here comes Dave Tremblay, and we'll get Jamie Walker to face Akinori Iwamura. So Albers comes in to face 7, 6, 7, 8, and 9, and he allows a single and a walk, but he has 2 men down in the inning. And Jamie Walker will come on now to face Iwamura with Crawford behind him. Orioles have a 6-0 lead. Trying to return. And Walker comes on in the 7th. With 2 men on and 2 men down. On a relief of Jeremy Guthrie, and Buck now it's Jamie Walker to try to get the final out.
And Jamie Walker has had a lot of success against Akinori Iwamura. Iwamura just 1 for 10 in their head-to-head matchups.
It's outside, 1-0.
Walker a year ago was bothered by elbow problems. He tried to pitch through it, and he's always been a very conscientious team player and probably hurt himself a lot not acknowledging his elbow problems, and eventually later on in the season went on the DL.
Foul tip held on to by Zahn. 1-1 on Iwamura.
But when Jamie Walker is right, he can really handcuff left-handed hitters, and last year he didn't have that strong elbow and couldn't throw that breaking ball that's so effective against left-handed hitters.
Just off the plate.
That's the slider right there. That's really the neutralizer against lefty batters. It's in a great spot down and away. Watch how it starts low, knee high, and breaks just to the outside corner. Well, I tell you what, Darrell Cousins has had a very conservative strike zone tonight.
Now back 2-2.
But the quality of Walker's pitches tonight, outstanding. He's had good location, little good slider that's been effective, and he and Zahn put their heads together now trying to finish off this pivotal at bat.
Two and two the count on Ewa Moore. And he got him. That one floated in on Zahn, able to grab it, and Ewa Moore down on strikes. Tampa Bay strands 2. Tonight's 7th inning stretch brought to you by Jack Daniel's Tennessee Whiskey. Drink responsibly. Welcome back in. Jim Hunter with Buck Martinez. And Buck, how do you have a good season? You take 2 out of 3 more times than not. Orioles have gone 8 consecutive series without winning a series from Tampa Bay. They split the season opening series last year, each winning a game, and then dropped the last 5. They're just trying to get 2 out of 3, but coming off the heels of 2 out of 3 for the Yankees, good start.
Yeah, it sure is a good start. And you have your ace, Jeremy Guthrie, going on the mound in game 2 of a 3-game series. It's a very pivotal game. Matt Albers and Jamie Walker did a good job right there getting out of that inning when Tampa Bay was trying to come back. Jamie Walker's going to be a very important guy for this team. He got Ewa Moore with a high changeup to end that scoring threat.
And yes, it's early, and yes, it's only April, but the last time we looked, April wins count just as much as September wins.
Well, they sure do, and I think if you think about it, you win 15 games each month of the season, that racks up to 90 wins, and that's going to have you in the hunt somehow. But I think this team is off to a great start, playing with a lot of confidence right now.
And tonight we're seeing all the facets of the game. We are seeing the hitting, we are seeing the pitching, and a couple of good defensive plays as well. As a new pitcher comes on for Tampa Bay, here is Joe Nelson taking over, as Aubrey Huff will lead off for the Orioles as we play here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Oh, 1 is fouled back, and 0-2 on Aubrey Huff. Aubrey has a base hit on the night. He's been on base twice. He walked in the rally in the 1st inning. Melvin Moore and Ty Wigginton will follow for the Birds. Just got a piece of that to stay alive.
Joe Nelson signed as a free agent with Tampa Bay. And it's interesting how your fortunes turn around dramatically in signing free agents when you go to the World Series. You all of a sudden become a very popular destination for free agents.
0-2 is in the dirt. Aubrey lays off, a ball and 2 strikes. Aubrey Huff, originally drafted by Tampa Bay. Rays then traded him away to the Astros, and then the Orioles signed him here as a free agent. Sharply hit to the shortstop. Bartlett is on the second base side and gets it to first, so that'll be 6-3 on the putout. It was the shortstop who handled it, one away. There's a young lady having fun at the ballpark with Dad. That's what it's all about. And here's a young man who has a lot of fun at his house with the kids. All 6 of them. Melvin has the big hit of the game. Broken back ground ball towards short. There's Bartlett in the normal position, 2 men down. Ty Wigginton will come up. The Orioles haven't won a series against Tampa Bay since taking 2 out of 3 August 3rd through the 5th in 2007.
15-3 last year in favor of the Rays in their season-long matchup. And the win last night snapped a 12-game losing streak, including 6 in a row here at Camden Yards.
Well, when you look at the AL East from a year ago, all 4 rivals of the Orioles had winning records within the division. Even the Blue Jays, the 4th place team, went 37-35 within the division. If you are going to contend and or be competitive throughout the season, you must be able to compete within this division. Tampa Bay won 43 games within the division. The Yankees won 40 last year and did not make the playoffs. And Wigginton earns a 2-out walk. Boston won 38 and Toronto 37.
It appears to be a very balanced division once again, with Boston building up their bullpen even further. Brad Penny was brought in the offseason. He won his first start of the day today against the Angels. And they still have a fellow named John Smoltz working in the minor leagues, getting prepared possibly for a second half emergence into the pennant race.
Felix PA takes a strike. Well, when you look at team pitching, the number to look at, as these skippers well know, is the team ERA overall, because that's what you're allowing as PA nubs it foul. And I realize this doesn't work out exactly like this, but the Orioles last year had a team ERA of 5.13. So just doing simple math, that means the Orioles have to score 6 runs each day just to have a chance to win, which is very tough to do. So if you get that team ERA down to 4s, or better yet 3s if you could, it makes it easier to win day in and day out, because your team then needs to score fewer runs. And again, I mean, it's not exact, because some days you might win, 9-3. Some days you might win 3-2. But again, I mean, it's the over the course of the long year, that team ERA, that is so important.
Yeah, it's pretty indicative of just how many runs you're going to have to score on an average night to win. And it's difficult to do anytime you get an ERA up over 4.5. It's a real challenge. You don't have to look any further than the postseason teams and see where they rank in ERA. And oftentimes you'll see 5 or 6 of the leading ERA teams in the postseason. It's all about pitching and defense. I don't care what you say about power and batting average and on base percentage. If you can pitch and you can play defense, you're going to be in just about every ballgame.
PA battling here, 0-2 the count. And strike 3 called. Got him on the inside corner, so tough night for PA. He's now 0 for 4. 2-out walk at a man left will head to the 8th. 6-0 O's.
the ballpark, it's the Oriole Park Kids Corner. Families can enjoy games, a moon bounce, a newly enhanced climb and play area, and much more. There's even a special Orioles merchandise store there tailored to younger fans, and a special concession stand selling kid-sized hot dogs, popcorn, and soda for just $1. So bring your family to the Oriole Park Kids Corner, located on the ballpark's main concourse level, just inside Gate C on the first base side. Jim?
All right, Amber, thank you very much. That sounds like fun. Here's Carl Crawford. Kids can come out and hang out there in their own little area. Jamie Walker stays on. He got the final out in the 7th. Now facing Crawford, who is hitless on the night. Just missed inside. 1-1. Chris Ray now getting loose for the Birds. Longoria and Pena will follow. Crawford swings through it. Now in this inning you have left-hander Crawford, then right-hander Longoria, followed by left-hander Pena. We'll see how Dave Tremblay plays it here. 1-2 on Crawford in the dirt.
Now Jamie Walker made a great pitch to Takanori Iwamura to end the 7th inning. Looked like he struck him out on a changeup and it crowded the left-handed hitter. Big strikeout to end that scoring threat in the 7th.
2-2 the count. Curveball is ripped into right field for a base hit, so he hung that one. And Carl Crawford is all over it for a leadoff single in the 8th. Time now for you to text in your vote for the AT&T Player of the Game. Here are the candidates. Jeremy Guthrie, 6 scoreless innings. Melvin Moore with a grand slam in the 1st. And Nick Markakis with an RBI double. Text in your vote now. Have your voice heard. Text in A, B, or C to 51862. Tremblay has elected to stay with Walker with the left-handed bat of Pena on deck. Deals high to Longoria, 1-0. Longoria a single and a double tonight. He now has 4 multi-hit games on the year. Walker falls behind him, 2-0.
And it's interesting too, and a young hitter like Longoria going through just his 2nd spring training with the big club, hit only 1 home run all spring long. He already has 4 in the regular season.
Two-0 is grounded slowly to short, could be 2. Asturias to 1. Roberts back to first. There's 2. 6-4-3 erases the base runner and 2 men down. Good comeback by Walker.
Well, you're going to learn to love this double play combination. Watch how quickly Asturias shovels the ball to Brian Roberts, who has enough time to throw off the wrong foot, gets enough on the throw to get Longoria. Very sure-handed double play tandem, and they're going to get better and better as they log more games together, and something the pitchers are going to learn to really appreciate.
Cesar Asturias has won a Gold Glove in his career. He was brought in to solidify the defense, and he certainly is showing that he's going to do that. Here's Pena. High fly ball, towering fly ball to right. Markakis waiting for it. And he has it for the out. So the final out of the 8th inning. Don't forget O's Extra coming up following the game. Tom and Rick getting ready. They're coming up following the game.
6-0 lead, trying to improve to 4-1 on the young season. Birds got 5 in the first. Morris grand slam the big hit, and then an RBI ground out by Adam Jones in the 6th inning. And here's Greg Zahn, who got that 6th inning rally going with a 1-out walk. Nelson stays on for Tampa Bay. This is low to Zahn, 1-0. There's Stewart on deck, then Brian Roberts for the Orioles in the 8th inning. There's a strike. Like mentioned, Tampa Bay signed Nelson as a free agent. Last year he pitched for Florida, so all he did was drive across the state from Miami to St. Petersburg. Been in pro ball since '96. And he has been a reliever almost exclusively since the '99 season in the minor leagues.
Nelson started out in the Brave system, then signed as a minor league free agent with the Red Sox, moved to the Mets, the Rays back in '05. He was in the minor leagues, didn't make it to the big leagues in '05, pitched at Durham most of the year.
Zahn skies it to left, slicing towards the crowd, and Crawford runs out of room.
One thing about relievers that's very interesting, it's difficult to have a consistent bullpen just to know how guys are going to throw from year in to year out, but you can go out and replenish your bullpen each and every year, and you never know when a guy's really going to click, like Nelson did for the Marlins last year.
Zahn fouls it back.
Think about how some of the bullpens have really come together with guys coming out of nowhere. The way Grant Balfour has really developed here with Tampa Bay. Danny Wheeler came over from Houston and became a very important part of the back end of their bullpen, as did Troy Percival when he was healthy.
And Zahn down on strikes. Pretty good pitch there by Nelson.
He got a very good changeup, high leg kick, a lot of action coming toward the hitter, and great arm action on the off-speed pitch. Had Zahn out in front. Pretty good changeup when you can strike out a big league hitter with a changeup, because they're trying to protect the plate with 2 strikes.
Stewart slaps it down the left field line. That is a foul ball, just foul. Cesar will come back and have another crack at it. Asturias with the Orioles is now with his 6th major league organization, which is not uncommon nowadays. However, he's only 29 years old.
Yeah, he's been battling some serious injury problems. He had Tommy John surgery, he had a knee surgery. Just couldn't stay healthy there for a few years.
Little nubber to the left of the mound. The race is on. Nelson bobbles momentarily and decides not to make a throw.
That was very unusual. Looked like he might have twisted his ankle a little bit. The little squibber off the end of the bat is Stewart out in front of it. Watch Nelson as he comes over here. He did jam his foot into the ground. It looked as though he expected to slide. Watch his right foot. Boy, that really stuck hard as his cleats caught on the turf, and once he recognized he wasn't going to make a clean play, he just wisely chose. Look how his foot sticks into that dirt there, and then he reaches for the ball and didn't have his balance to which he could make a throw on.
Longoria couldn't get there in time. So Nelson was the only possibility, and Asturias has an infield hit. Brian Roberts now. Once again batting from the left side. Pops it foul, slicing towards the stands. And Longoria runs out of room. Bryant's had another good night. He's 2 out of 4. He's hitting all 5 games on the season, and 3 of those have been multi-hit efforts. See, Pena is behind Asturias at first, but close enough just in case. And there's a interesting grip, the Vulcan grip. And it's high. It must be pretty tough to get your fingers around the baseball like that.
Yeah, it's an unusual grip used to throw that off-speed pitch, and you get very good arm action because there's no resistance at all, but it's jammed between the second and third finger. You would think it'd be very difficult to command, and I'm sure it is, but he has mastered it very effectively. All you're looking for is something that will take the resistance off the baseball and give you the drop in velocity while giving you the same arm action, so the hitter sees fastball arm action and gets change-up velocity.
Ryan fouls that one off.
You see a split finger change-up. You'll see a circle change-up. You'll see a ball just jammed all the way back in the palm. They call it a palm ball change-up. Anything that will take the velocity off the fastball to create deception to the hitter.
Hot foul again, this time on the first base side over the Oriole dugout. And Brian will hand the helmet and mask back to Deanna Navarro and get another crack at a 1-2 pitch with Asturias at first and 1 down. Finale of the series in the homestand is tomorrow. 1:35 first pitch, with Adam Eaton expected to make his Oriole debut against James Shields. Foul back.
Good battle put up by Roberts here as he's spoiling some pretty good pitches. That fastball to the outside part of the plate at 88 miles an hour.
Brian with a smile for Deanna Navarro. Count holds 1 and 2 on Roberts with Jones on deck. And he got him. Well, Nelson won that battle. Brian upset that he couldn't at least foul that one off. 3rd strikeout for Nelson and 2 away.
Now they elevate the fastball away this time, as Roberts had fouled off a couple of pitches and just run that ball just a little bit higher. You can see that Roberts upset. He saw the pitch the whole way, just couldn't make contact. Had a pretty good at bat, but has to pack the lumber back to the bench.
2 men down. Here's Adam Jones. Swings through an off-speed pitch, 0-1. Adam was hit by a pitch in the first inning. He came around to score. He has since struck out, flied out, and has driven in a run with a force play. Asturias at first now with 2 men out. The Orioles have out-hit Tampa Bay in this game, but only 8-7. Of course, the Orioles got 4 runs on 1 swing. Changeup is low.
We talked about the top of the order doing a lot of damage early on in this season. Again tonight they have half the hits and have scored half the runs. Top 3 guys doing the number again. Brian Roberts a couple of hits, and they all scored in the first inning ahead of Melvin Moore, a grand slam. Roberts scored on Markakis' double to right center. And then Aubrey Huff walked to load the bases, and then Melvin Moore hit his 3rd career grand slam. All of that coming off Jeff Neiman in the first.
Jones to left field, and that falls. A big hop to Carl Crawford for a base hit. So Jones has his first hit of the night. He does have an RBI. And the Orioles have 2 on with 2 out. Adam 1 out of 4. Run scored in a ribby. Nick Markakis will get another chance with men on base. Nick with his RBI double in the first inning now has 7 RBIs on the year. Melvin Mora did not have an RBI going into last night's game, and he already has 7 now. 3 last night and 4 tonight. There's the Crow. He works very hard with these hitters day in and day out, and Dave Tremblay right behind him. Strike 1. Markakis has 7 ribbies. Mora has 7 ribbies. Adam Jones now has 4. Aubrey Huff has 4. Another strike, and it's 0-2.
Man, a lot of these Oriole hitters getting their first look at Joe Nelson. I haven't seen an awful lot of him. Is Sturis, Moore, and Zahn the only hitters in this lineup that have seen Joe Nelson before tonight?
0-2 on Markakis. Doesn't chase the high fastball. 1-2. For Tampa Bay in the 9th, it'll be Burrell, Joyce, and Navarro due up. Joe Madden's team trailing 6-0 at the moment. The Orioles have 2 more runners out there with 2 down. High fly ball to left. Crawford back on it. He'll get there. And he has it for the out. The inning ends. So a couple of hits and 2 left. We're heading to the 9th inning. Nighttime baseball. The Birds with a 6-0 lead. Is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. And by Firestone, a tradition of innovation. Oh, nice look at the Inner Harbor. What do you say, Buck? Let's go take a dip.
Let's not. It's a little too cold for that tonight, but it's a pretty view for sure.
All right, maybe July.
Chris Ray makes his 3rd appearance of this early season, and he's had a little bit of a rough start. But you got to remember, Chris missed all of last season. Coming back from Tommy John surgery, he had not pitched prior to opening day on Monday since July 20th, 2007. That came in Oakland, and he had his elbow problems. He subsequently had Tommy John surgery. It's going to take him a while to get back into the flow of things, and I don't think there's anything wrong with him. I think he's healthy. I think he'll be just fine.
Fastball's high to Pat Burrell. 93 miles an hour, which is encouraging. That's been the question about Chris Ray. Where was the velocity? Well, we saw it there. How's it back? 1-1 the count.
I think one thing that we're seeing early on is he hasn't been able to create that downward angle just yet. I think he's just throwing maybe a little bit of a too flat of a fastball and staying up a little bit, but he'll get it down and he'll get better. Good breaking ball right there, just missed.
Darrell Cousins tonight, not overly generous. Been very consistent, though. 2-1 the count on Burrell. There's a strike. Good fastball right there. 2-2.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with his velocity. That was 94 miles an hour down at the knees away from Pat Burrell. Just takes you a while to get back in the flow of things when you've missed over a year and a half of baseball.
Strike 3 call right there. Came right at him. 1 away.
I'll tell you what, Pat Burrell doesn't think there's anything wrong with Chris Ray. Take a look at the pitch sequence he utilizes here to start the 9th inning against Pat Burrell. Fastball up and away, ball 1 comes back. Burrow's late on the fastball. Good slider, just missed. Comes back with a fastball, finds the corner, and then the slider for strike 3. Great sequence of pitching, all in a pretty good location, down and away from the right-handed hitting Burrell.
1 away in the Tampa Bay 9th. Matt Joyce swings through it. Ray with a good pitch there as Joyce was looking fastball and didn't get it and waved at it for strike 1. Hitless on the night, 0 for 3. A little bit low. Well, without a doubt, as Ray gets his command back of his pitches and gets comfortable, the back end of the bullpen will benefit. Guy who has closer's experience because he was the Orioles closer when he got hurt. And on a night maybe where Jim Johnson is unavailable, here's your 8th inning guy. Could be Chris Ray, or if George Sherrill's unavailable, there's your 9th inning guy, Chris Ray. You also might even be able to use him sometimes in a 7th inning, depending on the game situation, to maybe get out of a big jam and then have Johnson and Sherrill ready to follow.
Yeah, to me, this is a real strength of this pitching staff, is the depth of their bullpen. I know they've gotten off to a little bit of a rocky start, but before it's all said and done, it's going to be a strength.
Ripped foul by Joyce. He had a good swing on that one.
Well, I don't care who you are, if you've been away from the game as long as Chris Ray was, you've got to have a lot of emotions when you get back into the action again, and the adrenaline can be overwhelming at times.
Little low ball 3. Chris Ray still has youth on his side. Just 27. And just a little bit low.
Tell you what, he's missing in real good spots. Everything has been down, and that is right at the bottom of the strike zone. And tell you what, that's a good delivery, good follow through out over that front leg.
Now, how often is it? I thought that was ball 4. The hitter never moved. The umpire never gestured. Zahn didn't say anything. How often does everybody on the field forget the count?
Well, it happens once in a while, and I'm not surprised that Zahn wouldn't say anything. Maybe we'll get another one here.
Well, Joyce is on with 1 down. Here's Deanna Navarro. Huff is behind Joyce at first. Navarro takes low, 1-0. Wind is beginning to pick up a little bit here in the 9th inning. Sky the left towards the line. PA running back on it, still running back, and it falls in for a base hit, and that'll be a ground rule double. It looked like the wind got a part of that, and a double for Deanna Navarro. Let's get an update on the voting for the AT&T Player of the Game. There are your choices: Jeremy Guthrie, Melvin Mora, and Nick Markakis. Text in A, B, or C to 51862. How about that? Guthrie 6 shutout innings. He gets 8%. Moore's hit a grand slam, 44%. Nick Markakis, fan favorite, 48%. 51862, text in A, B, or C, and Tom and Rick will have the results coming up on O's Extra postgame. So PA couldn't get back on that, and it fell fair, and it's a double. And here's Gabe Gross. Swings at it and misses, 0-1. Not a very good swing at that.
No, it sure wasn't. It looked like a split finger fastball for the first pitch, and Gross was hard charging, expecting that good fastball.
Check swing, and he went too far. Darrell Cousins called it 0-2.
Watch how far he goes. It's a slider this time, and clearly swung at it. He's in a hole deep now, 0-2.
Joyce at third, Navarro at second with one down. And 0-2 the count on Gabe Gross. Knocks him off the plate. Chris Ray is the fourth Orioles pitcher used. Joe Madden watched his team fall into a 5-0 hole in the bottom of the first inning. Check swing, and he fouled it off.
Yeah, all the questions about velocity, the concerns, Ray is right where he needs to be right now. It needs to be a matter of commanding his pitches a little more efficiently. You mentioned the wind, and it seemed like it just picked up when that ball off the bat of Navarro was headed toward the left field corner, and PA could never catch up to it.
Here's the 1-2, and a called strike 3. Froze him with the slider. What a good pitch by Chris Ray. 2 men out.
Second strikeout of the inning for Chris Ray, and both come on the slider, and this is another good pitch down and in, and you can see Gross couldn't offer at it.
Now 2 down, and here is Jason Bartlett. There's a strike with a slider. Well, the Oriole fans have been fabulous on this homestand, Buck. They have been enthusiastic right from the opener. 3 games against the Yankees in the first 2 here. A chilly evening it's become, and they are still here cheering on the Birds.
Well, it's a pretty good opening week of baseball when you can open up against the Yankees and then have the reigning American League champ Rays come in right behind them over the Easter weekend. Pretty good schedule.
Ball and a strike on Bartlett. Swing and a miss. Wow. His slider, Buck, really has some sharp break to it.
Well, it sure does, and it's hard, and the spin is very tight, so the hitters can't see the rotation on the breaking ball.
Ball and 2 strikes on the Tampa Bay shortstop, and he got him. Another slider, and Chris Ray comes back. And the Orioles have shut out the defending American League champions that have taken the first 2 games in this series. And the Orioles assuring themselves now of winning both series on the season opening